Red Pill Phone Tap. Anthony, are we on episode number 42 right now?
That 4 deuce, baby.
That 4 deuce. We're bringing red pill knowledge every week. Thank you, everybody. Wow. What a reception. Thank you. Thank you. Part of me...
At no point are we full of ourselves.
Yeah, part of me thinks that they were cheering extra loud for us, though, because they've been missing sports the last few days, and they didn't have anything to cheer for. But hey, we're going to take it where we can get it, right? We're going to take it where we can get it. We have an amazing show planned for you all tonight. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about how ladies will tell you a dating strategy, but that's not for you, fellas. That's for them. This is their chess move. And then you run around the rest of your life trying to do this shit. What is Corey Wayne saying about taking advice from women? Dating advice from women, Anthony?
Don't do it.
Don't do it. And then Anthony has a really, really good segment planned for you. Jesus, my notes are terrible. I don't have this written down.
It's right in front of you. On the screen.
Well, I don't see it.
Self-censorship.
Self-censorship. Jesus. That was terrible. That was terrible production. But hey, it's just me and Anthony over here, okay?
Yeah, we had to make some cutbacks during the COVID outbreak, so we had to.
There was, as far as our production team, there was some permanent job loss over here, right? There was some permanent job loss.
That was part of the millions of people that's unemployed right now. We had to contribute to that.
Anthony, let's jump right into the show, though. When we talk about self-censorship, that's something that's near and dear to my heart, because I know we're kind of losing something in society. It's one thing to get canceled on Twitter because you said the wrong adjective or you said the wrong word. But it's another thing when people just censor themselves because they're just like, I don't want to deal with this drama.
I don't want the trouble.
I don't want to deal with it. I don't want the trouble of all this. Let me just avoid any stress.
And the drama, or I have to explain myself. Is it a man thing to do to withdraw versus, because we're built to penetrate and to attack and to mobilize. So we should be causing havoc.
Well,
we should be.
You see what I'm going to do to you here? I'm going to go. What do you mean? You mean girls aren't built to penetrate and wreak havoc?
No.
Have you ever heard anything called the fucking WNBA, you chauvinist asshole?
Yeah, and it sucks. I made a video about everything that was going on, mainly because I didn't post it because
self-censorship.
Well, not that. It was just some of that. I guess you can say that because I know that opposite opinions exist. So anybody that's have an opinion, there's going to be an opposite, take on it. But for me, it was more about listening to myself and understanding what do I want to do about what's happening and what can I do if I do choose to do something, right? So I guess you can say I censor myself by not posting it, but I kind of wanted to hear myself talk about it without any outside influence, without discussing it with anyone else, and just see where my head was. But when we do this, I think as men, we take away from ourselves. We do a podcast, and sometimes in the podcast, and I discussed this with you earlier today about, we'll say something in the podcast that we've never said before to each other or out loud because you guys are actually hearing our conversation. When we call this the Red Pill Phone Tap, we're talking about how we see the world today.
We'd like to think that this is like your phone tapped into a conversation we're having on the phone, right?
Yeah. And it's a little dressed up because we have topics, in place, but for the most part, you're hearing our raw conversation on how we feel about whatever it is that we're talking about. So sometimes I'll go back and listen to what the podcast was, and I'm like, well, damn, either that was a good take that I had, or oh man, I should have thought that through a little bit more, or I have a different version, or I would have liked to add it on to what I heard, right? So there's always this like, add on, subtract type of mindset I have when we talk about certain topics, or did we deep dive into it enough, type of thing. But we have more podcasts to do, so I'm not worried about what we cover and what we don't cover. So, but what we are talking about today is being a man and having to stop saying what you believe or how you think because you haven't covered all the bases of that specific topic.
Well, and I'll tease them a little bit too, because this is kind of like two topics in one, because you pointed out to me that there is a place beyond self-censorship. There's a place where you start taking on the beliefs of women that that support their mating imperative, right? You start to repeat the shit they say so much,
right,
that now you've begun to believe it, and even when there's no women around, you keep repeating the shit that they say.
And that's a sad state.
That's beyond censorship. You've been indoctrinated then, right?
Yeah. You can't be who you are because you have to take into account of what someone else may think or retaliate against what you want to say. So instead of actually waiting for that retaliation to come, it's like you're fearful of it. And now, what does that make you? Who are you then at that point? Because if now you're afraid to be yourself, who the fuck are you?
And some of these guys are going to wake up, and the real smelling salt is they've never been themselves, right? They've been part. Yeah, it's very sad. They got indoctrinated at such an early age. They've never truly been themselves. And I'll give a perfect example. My marriage is the first. God damn it, ESPN. ESPN is going to drive me crazy with these NBA updates. Every time CP3 and LeBron have a conversation, I get an update to my phone. Jesus Christ, man. It's too much, ESPN. I digress. It's one of these things where I'll give you a perfect example of, like I've never been myself my whole life. My marriage is the first relationship where I can literally have sex anytime I want. Night, day, asleep, not asleep. But
Wesley's sleeping like, oh, I'm having sex right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I might wake up to a blowjob or something. But it's new to me. But Anthony thinks this is funny because Anthony rightfully thinks this should just be your life, brother. This is what you were born to do.
It is available for every one of us that's out here.
You were born to be alpha and fuck whenever the fuck you want to fuck. And I was laying in bed last night, and we didn't even talk about this in the pre-show. I was laying in bed last night, And we have a 1-year-old, you know. So, you know, my wife loses a lot of rest, you know. But I wanted to fuck. I wanted to go. And it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I just woke up, and I know what it was. Our baby woke up. I went and put her back down. I came back. I was ready to fuck, like 3:30 in the morning. But then I was having this censorship moment where I was like, no, be a good guy. Don't do that. Let her rest. And then I finally pushed the envelope, and I was like, no. And you know what my wife did? Turned right over and jumped right in the game. And it was just this thing where it was like, this is the way my life should have been all along. And I was giving her some kind of compliment or something. I was like, God damn. I was like, whether it's noon on a Saturday or it's 3:30 on Thursday night, you are amazing in the bed, girl. And she's like, no, it's just that I'm always ready for you, Daddy. And it was just like this epiphany moment. I'm like, this is how my life should have always been, Anthony.
You know how we have this belief. You know what? Who said that if you believe that you can or you believe that you can't, they're both true.
Yeah.
I don't know you guys mention that in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. But
yeah,
who said that?
There's a man that believes he can. There's a man that believes that he can't. And they're both right.
Yeah, exactly. So being able to change and shift your mindset to have what you want is the ultimate level of self-propulsion towards your goals and how you live your life. There are guys out there, man, that will shame you for you doing that. There are guys, not women, guys that will shame you for forcing your wife to wake up.
Because they think they have the answers to the test. You guys think guys have the answers to the test.
Whose answers are those, though?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm the teacher. I'm grading. You fellas here in the red pill community are correct. And it's because I know this shit. It's because Anthony and I made it our fucking life's purpose to be fucking experts of this shit. But Anthony, they're coming from a place where they think they got the answers to the test, but they don't.
Because they heard so many women tell them the answers to the test.
Yeah,
right?
But deer cannot tell you how to hunt deer.
Nope.
Fellas. I mean, we're going to do a whole second segment about women telling you about dating strategies, but they're not for you to follow. It's for you to follow for them. And we'll talk about that more in detail. But Anthony, before we move on beyond this point, you said something earlier where you were like, hey, sometimes we will have epiphanies on this program. And even though we do a pre-show, even though we talk, during the week, we'll have like an epiphany live on the air. And we'll be like, wow, shit, I never fucking thought of that. And when it comes to censorship, Anthony and I would argue that unless you push the envelope about what you can be allowed to talk about, I don't think you can get to deeper truths, Anthony. If everybody here is just fucking reading off a script, can't say retard, can't say midget, can't do this. If everybody's just fucking reading off a script, how do you get to deeper truths, Anthony?
Well, you can't. You can only ask for permission, and then they'll say, well, let me get back to you.
Yeah.
And then where you go at that point? Do you have to stop thinking?
Yeah.
Do you have to stop thinking? Do you have to, where do you go? Do you say, well, they haven't gotten back. Say, hey, Wesley, what do you think about what's going on right now? Well, they haven't gotten back with me yet, so I
don't know what I'm allowed to say.
I have to hold off into what I think, because now, all our lives, we've been taught what to think and not how to think. And
good take.
When you get the opportunity to break free and you say, you know what? This is how I think. This is how I want to think. Because the way I think in this manner benefits me. And if you can't live your life to benefit yourself, why? What life are you living?
And let me ask, and let me be really specific. If you can't live your life to benefit yourself, why should a woman want you?
Ugh.
I'm very honest, right?
Well,
I mean,
since the woman is the cheese on the trap, yeah. Who can follow a man who has no direction of his own? He has to get permission before he can tell her, well, I don't know what I want to do yet. Let me go get approval from my friends and family first.
And more broadly, I can't follow another man, whether it be into battle, whether it be toward another goal. I can't follow a man that can't pursue his own happiness. I can't.
Well, I wouldn't choose to. I mean, there are many followers on this planet. We talked about this last week. There are many followers on this planet, very few leaders, and even fewer observers that see it all. And me as a man, I had to. I was a follower at some point of something. Every time I've gotten into something, I found my own way to lead. When you be able to lead, it's not always leading other people. Can you lead yourself? That's the first person that you get. That if you can get yourself to follow yourself, that's when you know you can become a leader.
Very good take.
Because you got to believe in yourself first to be able to for other people to believe in you. So it has to come from something inside of you. And people will resonate with it because they was like, now that's raw. Now that's genuine. That's truth. That's if it ain't truth, it's his truth. And I can believe in his truth because it's his. So he doesn't have to go get a certified letter to say that, okay, yes, how he believes in himself is a certified thing. No, he can certify himself. That's the mindset that you got to have as a man, being okay with yourself. And how do you first test that? You test that around other men. Before you deal with women, you do that with men first. Like with your friends. Your friends will be able to tell you that, man, you know what? You kind of flimsy on that, man. You kind of, what you call that when you're flaky, man. Like
yeah.
You don't really follow through on a lot of shit. Like, you need to do better on that. Like, they may come at you a little softer than your dad will, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's your mentor or something. But when you get with these women and you have that mentality and you soft and you flaky and you don't really know how to fucking penetrate the world and walk strong and got your chin up and you believe in every fiber of your being, what you're saying, she can sense that, and she'll be able to know that, okay, I can take advantage of this. I can take advantage of a guy who don't completely believe in himself, so he'll do what I want him to do because I'll make him believe in me. Because you don't have any direction. You don't know where you're going. A woman that don't follow you is a woman that can't do what you want or what you need for her to do in your life. So you keep it pushing. You don't have to worry about chasing the chick that can't be in your program. If you a football team, you need a fast wide receiver, and all these wide receivers that you are trying out are slow, but they can catch the ball. You know, they can tackle. They can do things that you don't need in your life. You need a fast wide receiver. Why would you sign them? Because they can do other shit, but you need a fast wide receiver. So you just say, okay, I can't deal with y'all. Y'all can do other shit that's cool with y'all. Maybe another team can use you, but I can't use you on my team. I need to go find a fast wide receiver. That is the difference with knowing what you want versus just taking what the fuck is here and available.
I got to tell you, you just brought up a really, really good point about women that can and cannot get on your program. We talked about that a little on the drive over too. Women that can't get on your program. Now we'll back up a little bit here, and we'll talk about what is the analogy we've always used when it comes to a man being in a relationship. Man is the captain.
Woman is the XO.
Woman is the XO. That's correct. Now, let me ask you a question. Does the XO lead?
Hell no.
Well, yes, he does. Everybody else on the boat.
The XO can lead. When I hear lead, there should be a leader, right?
Well, there are many leaders on a boat, though.
Well, that's what I was about to get to. There is a leader, but a true leader allows other leaders to define themselves and become a leader in their own right. Some in the military is totally different because your rank gives you leadership. It doesn't mean you're a great leader.
Theoretically, you earn that rank, right?
Yeah, it's not always the case. Sometimes you're an officer with a leader position, but with no idea how to lead.
But a relationship and all of the things that create masculine and feminine polarization, attraction in general, it's all leading to procreation, right? And depending on how many children you have, when the husband's not there, the XO, or the wife in this case, will be leading the household, right? The captain is the overall leader. There's different leadership roles.
Leading from the, and that was why I wanted to talk about that. Leading from the position on where the direction of the top leader wants it to go. You don't get to just lead because the leader is absent.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going, by the way.
Okay.
Because you use the phrase, can this woman that you're in a relationship with, can she get with your program? So it's almost like the captain's everywhere on the ship as long as all his leaders are on his program, right?
Right.
Now, I wrote down an important phrase. And guys, I promise we're getting back to self-censorship. But we need to set up some real foundations because we're going to be talking about self-censorship in dating and self-censorship in relationships. But I wrote down a phrase here. When we talk about women, can they or can they not get on your program? And this isn't just for women. This is for men and women. And I wrote this down. A person that can't follow should never be allowed to lead. We have this problem in our White House right now, right? I hate to put somebody on blast, but we have somebody that in their life they probably never followed. So they don't know what it's like to follow. So they cannot put themselves in the shoes of followers. This person was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, and they've just been nothing but leader. Actually, if we're being honest, the gentleman that's running against him for president, very similar attitude, right? And this is why you'll notice both of these guys that really want to lead that are not good followers. Boy, they can't handle any pushback at all, can they, Anthony?
Well,
no way. You do not question them. There's no pushback. But if you've been a follower, you've known, like, holy shit, there was one time where I got an order where I knew motherfuckers' lives were in danger. If I just gave them this piece of information, they might be able to give us a better order, or they could at least say, yeah, I've looked at that. This is going to be dangerous. I appreciate you guys sticking your neck out on this one. Yeah, I've looked at that. However, that's not disobeying an order. You're trying to get more information out there, right?
Yeah.
And guys, we talk about vetting on every program, and we should talk about it 10 times more. Guys, if you're with a woman that can't get with your program in the early dating phase, this is not going to be somebody that can be your XO. So you can't tell her what to do. You can't question her. She's the queen, and if anyone says anything, she can't take any kind of pushback from you whatsoever. She cannot be XO of the boat. if you've never been a follower, you should never be allowed to lead, and that's for men and women. I'm sorry, I just wanted to hit that because I think that's going to come up later here in the podcast.
If you have a woman that, for instance, that can get with your program, and then she decides that she no longer wants to be in your program, should you change your program to fit what she wants at this point?
Well, that is a 1 in 1,000. I mean, there are times where you can't be silly. You got to listen to the men on the boat, but it's very rare.
I wanted to ask you that before.
Very rare.
I wanted to ask you that for a specific reason, because as you was talking about leaders that has been followers first and now a leader, sometimes there are times where a leader must listen to his followers, because sometimes your followers still want to follow you. So they want to, hey, we still want to follow you, but we were following you for this reason. Now this reason is gone.
Or now you've changed.
Right. And this is the evolution. I want to ask you another question. It's the same shit. And all I'm doing this right now is taking you, so I won't blue ball the listeners.
I don't mind blue balls, listeners. I like them sitting on the edge of their seats.
I'm trying to take you through the evolution of a relationship where you're not always going to be the same. We're humans, and if you're not growing, you're dying. So
yeah.
you have to
agree with that 100%.
You have to be changing to grow. Nothing grows and stays the exact fucking same. This
goes back to what we talk about, making the team.
Yeah.
Who is the center for the Houston Rockets right now? That hard-working motherfucker.
PJ Tucker?
Jesus Christ. Because did his role change?
Yeah.
After Clint Capella left?
Yeah.
For those of you that watch the NBA, you already know this, but the Rockets went to a very small ball system, and we don't mean that's a weird term. The players are literally smaller on this roster.
Yeah.
And PJ Tucker was he a backup center?
I mean, PJ Tucker can play anything between 3 and 4 on the floor.
Yeah. But whenever Clint Capella left, I mean, he had to guard people like Anthony Davis, LeBron James, like all the big dudes. Did PJ Tucker get a pay raise, Anthony?
No.
But his role had to change, right?
Yeah.
And if he sat around and bitched and moaned about it, probably wouldn't make the team, would he?
No, he'd be sitting on the bench.
Yeah. But that motherfucker stepped up, but his role changed dramatically. His peeps came to him, his teammates, his coach, GM, front office. They were like, hey, this is going to be shitty for you, but we need you to play this role. We're going to have to ask you to step up. And he's done an amazing job, in my opinion.
I think this is why divorces happen prematurely. What you said, hey, there was communication. Hey, there's going to be some changes moving forward. You didn't even explain why there's changes moving forward. You just said, hey, this is going to be shitty for you.
Yeah.
And you gave you say, hey, this is for the benefit of the whole team, but there's going to be some changes going forward. Is it fair for someone in a relationship with you to get a heads up, or do they just find out on the fly? How do you communicate that with someone you're in a relationship with, and all of a sudden now the person that they said they will follow is now changing things up?
Well, this is why it's important to establish, can she get with the program? Because it's both, Anthony. There's going to be times where you can communicate it and you're like, hey, we know that this hurricane's hitting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay? But then there's times where, holy shit, did you see there's a tornado warning? It could be here in 20 minutes.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying? Life allows you to plan. Sometimes it does not.
Right.
I recently experienced having an infant. Our roles had to change. And is it fair? No. And one of the major reasons it's not fair is because my wife still breastfeeds. We're a year into this. She still breastfeeds. That kid's going to want her more than it wants me.
Yeah.
I do my best. To PJ Tucker it, make sure the dishes are done, get the laundry in, wipe down the counters, do some of the shopping. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to fill in the roles, but that baby wants her more. So I got to just go out there and make the team. And it's more than making the team. You have to consciously know, hey, how I'm going to contribute in this game. How am I going to contribute in this game? Guarding Anthony Davis is impossible. I mean, the motherfucker is, Jesus Christ, amazing, But what can I do to help my team? If I can keep him under 30, or if I can keep him under 23, how can I help my team? If I can keep him under 23, keep him in single-digit rebounds, we have a chance to win. It can't always be, and I had a feeling because we've been talking about this week, it can't fucking be equal. It can be equal rights. We want everybody to have the same equal rights, but it can't be the same. I mean,
it does. I'll give you an example. You can't have both.
I'll give you an example, Anthony. How come there's this double standard? And if you're using the word double standard, newsflash, you're beta as fuck. Just own it. But let me talk like these blue pill cucks for a second. Why is there a double standard that women are attracted to men that sleep around with a lot of women, but men aren't attracted to women that sleep around a lot? It's a double standard. You know what else a double standard is? How come y'all have titties and it's attractive to us, but when we have titties, it's not attractive to you? It ain't the same shit, is it? Not the same shit. So get out of here with this fucking double standard. Everything can't be the same, guys. It can't be the same. But, Anthony, we're kind of setting the foundation here for censorship. And I think I want the overall mantra of this segment to be, this show, we're going to say a lot of things, as we said earlier. We're going to say a lot of things that you can't say in a lot of circles. And guys, it's not because we're spouting propaganda. It's because Anthony and I are trying to reach deeper truths. And our goal is to make you guys reach happiness. I am very passionate in saying that if you guys listen to us, we can get you whatever your goal is. Do you want to date 7 women at the same time and have a healthy rotation? Do you want to be in a relationship? Do you want to get married? Do you want to get kids? Whatever your definition of happiness is, we are passionate on this show. We're not saying we're going to be 100% right all the time, but we are passionate on this show about getting you guys results, real fucking results. We do know this, and we're passionate about this. If you listen to all this other bullshit, the men and women are equal, relationships need to be 50-50, relationships are all about compromise. Guys, that leads us to where the fuck we're at right now, at a 50% divorce rate. This leads us to where we're at right now, to where less people are getting married because they just don't fucking like it. It's not even fulfilling. What I'm trying to say, guys, this podcast is not propaganda. When we talk to you guys, we passionately are trying to reach a deeper truth. Anthony, you were giving me an example of self-censorship in a text message. I don't know. I guess we should save that for later on in this segment.
Wait,
but
because
the second part of the segment is we're going to go into beyond censorship. You've now been indoctrinated. But Anthony, what are some of the most common forms of censorship that you see just commonly out there with guys? I know one of them is not all women. You know, I mean, not all women are like this, so it gives them the out to be like, oh, cool, he's talking about me. I'm not like this. No, bitch, you're probably like this.
Yeah.
You're probably like this. You probably don't want to improve yourself.
Well, the censorship for men, and I find it very...
I'm sorry. I was laughing because I just thought of another one.
It's very funny how...
You have to mention outliers all the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are outliers. There are certain women... Because you jumped on me on the ride over.
Yeah.
Right?
well, the reason I did that
because it sounded like I was self-censoring, right?
Yes, and the thing is that of course outliers exist.
Yeah,
and that's in anything you talk about. So you saying outliers exist in a argument, debate, conversation, you're not bringing anything like knowledgeable.
Thank you, Anthony. As we said. Our podcast is not propaganda. It's deeper truth, right?
Yeah.
When you give us outliers, are we getting to a deeper truth?
No. So it's like, because you can come up with an outlier, you feel like you've come to this realization. Instead of having a conversation on its surface value or what is being said, you're saying, but I can say something that's outside of what you're saying that exists.
Bishop takes rook 4.
So the fuck what? It doesn't make you smarter because outliers exist on everything. There's no absolutes that I know of. Can you tell me any? So,
well, what do they say in Star Wars? Only Siths communicate in absolutes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, of course, outliers exist. But don't come to me thinking that you're adding to the conversation by saying that they do. Of course, I don't have to say it over. I don't have to bring it to your attention that they exist. And censoring yourself is stopping the conversation that you're trying to have to say that these outliers exist, of course, and let's go over those. So the people that are going to speak against it can hear that the outliers have been said. But guess what you do after you do that? They stop listening right after you offer that outliers exist.
Yeah.
They stop listening.
Oh, so you're telling me, this is our favorite example, you're telling me that mammals have live young, but wait, there's three species of anteater and a duck-billed platypus that lays eggs. So it sounds like all mammals don't have live young then. So it's stupid. That's how women talk.
But then
it fucking drives me crazy.
But then their logic after that is, well, you don't know what you're talking about because outliers exist.
But we do know what we're talking about because we named the specific 4 species of mammals that lay eggs.
It doesn't matter.
You dumb bitches.
The fact that outliers exist makes that what you're saying could be wrong at any time.
See, I don't understand that. Well, I don't understand how men get that and women don't. It's similar to like rap music where Chris Rock says, you know, the rap songs like bitches ain't nothing but hoes and tricks, and the girls are like dancing to it, and then they're like, he ain't talking about me.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think it really is, Anthony. If a woman sees that there's an outlier, they're like, well, I could be the outlier. So right. I'm home free. Base. I got base. I'm safe.
So there's no reason to listen to anything that you're saying with any reflection on themselves. It's just, well, I can fit in this category. So like you said, I can touch base, tag, I'm safe. I don't have to listen to it. And if my feelings get hurt, I can just touch the base and be like, well, that's not me. And the thing is, this is the sad part. They want our input, our intellectual input, our opinions, what have you. But when it's given, it has to be given on a certain level for them to accept it.
Yeah, it's got to be a spoonful of medicine and like 3 cubes of sugar on the spoon and some honey mixed in.
I was just about to say, the medicine has to have additives and the honey.
It's got to be grape flavored.
Yeah, it can't be raw. You know, male honesty has a bitter flavor to it. So
well, but you see it on when men are doing masculine shit. I mean, if we were out hunting buffalo, you and I, Anthony, and we're on horseback, and we have spears and bow and arrows. Guess what, man? I got to give you info on the fly. Hey, man, that bull's coming. Hey, it's coming up your rear, dude. Watch out. It's going to knock you off the horse. Man, Anthony, watch out. I can't be like, Anthony, Wesley, how's your day been, bro? That's been pretty good, man. Family's good? Yeah. Hey, dude, there's a buffalo. Never mind. It already knocked you off your horse.
Why the fuck you couldn't tell me?
Do you remember the person? I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. Do you remember the person when it was? I feel bad saying this. Do you remember the person I told you I was doing some coaching sessions with?
Yeah, you shouldn't do it.
and I was like, hey, man, I was just giving him some real quick information because I was at work. And his whole attitude was like, hey, man, why'd you just give me that information? Like, you didn't even ask how my day was. You know, and I just assume men talking amongst men. Because, Anthony, is there a lot of are there a lot of opening pleasantries on a football sideline?
Open on a football sideline? What
yeah,
do you mean?
When the coach is like, hey, Bailey!
Oh, nah.
Bailey!
Nope.
Bailey, how's your day been going, man? Oh, really? Is your mom good? Yeah. What'd you guys eat last night?
The fuck you talking
really?
about?
Bailey, I need you to fucking hit that guy. It's like, no, man. When you're doing masculine shit amongst men, that should be available to you. You shouldn't have to. This is a different kind of censorship, right? This is like corporate talk where they tell you you're about to be fired. They kind of do two positives and the negatives in between, sandwiched in between.
Yeah, which is bullshit, right?
Which is dishonest communication, right?
Right.
Hey, I want to tell you that you've been doing a great job.
But not enough to keep your job.
But not enough to keep your job. So you're fired. But man, I really like that tie. Yeah.
There's that, and then you can't work here anymore. You can't support your family here.
No more money.
Yeah.
You're going to get no more money. Sorry about that.
Isn't that how women want to be talked to? They don't want to be told they're fired. They'll be like, hey, you can't get any more money here. You have to go find more money elsewhere. Wait. What do you mean I can't get more money
This
here?
doesn't sound equal.
Wait. This is what I'm saying. The conversation gets to be extended because you get to talk in bullshit ways instead of direct what's happening. It's like, hey, today's your last day. But they'll tell instead they'll be like, hey, don't come in tomorrow and the day after that. Actually, wait till we call you until you come back. Like, wait a minute, what? Or why is this a vacation? Like, is it extended vacation? Is it a forced vacation? Well, yeah, you can say that. You're just not getting paid for it. But when we need you, we'll call you.
Let me provide some censorship for this podcast, Anthony. We're not saying all women are bad employees.
There we go.
That's what we're talking about with that kind of censorship where you're like, all right, I don't. Not all women.
Here we go, Wesley. We do realize there are feelings involved in this conversation. It's like the footnotes of the commercial when they start talking real fast.
When during drug commercials?
Yes. It's like
side effects could include coughing, itching, lazy eye, and death. Side effects could include death.
Yeah, anal bleeding, and oily anal secretions. And it's like, wait a minute, you going to talk about that in 13 seconds?
I think y'all should have opened with that.
Right.
I wouldn't have paid attention to any of this
Why
shit.
is this shit allowed on the market? I get anal bleeding? What the fuck is... That's worse than what I got.
Yeah, no shit. There's nothing I'm dealing with my body that's worse than death. I promise.
Yeah, because that's the end all be all
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse than death. What else? That is one of the most common ones, Anthony, is like, before I give you some real truth about how you're not doing very well.
Let me make this softer.
Let me say something nice. Wow, did you have your hair done?
It's like if your food is alive, and before you chew down on it with your teeth, you just say, "Hey, first I'm just gonna lick you, and then kiss you, and then I'm gonna chew you." But
so you've had live octopus before, Anthony? That's what I'm hearing.
No.
Oh, okay. I know you've traveled to many different countries.
Yeah, I'm not that brave though. I can't
Okay.
do the moving. I can't have the food that can fight back. I can't eat the food that fights back.
Yeah. What are some of the... Now, these are forms of censorship, but we're talking about self-censorship right now.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that we just choose not to say? Pretty much everything on our podcast would be... Yeah.
Well, our podcast is a different level. I think that's very minimal censorship. I'm sure there are things that we talk about that we censor because we always will kind of... I ain't going to say always will, but I would say 50% of the time we will say, okay, ladies, for those that will misunderstand what's being said, this is how we mean it. And yes, we understand outliers exist. So we've done that on this podcast before. The reason I brought it up is because I saw it firsthand and it just kind of, it messed with me. Like,
now, are you talking about beyond censorship where the guy was indoctrinated, or are you talking about people holding back? We had Landon call in and kind of do some of that censorship. Like,
definitely,
well, hey, I'm not against guys. I'm not against girls. I'm just saying I've seen this one thing happen.
It's like you can't be truthful, and you can't even talk about your own experiences without having to put a prelude on it.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, here's the forward. Before we get into the book, here's the forward.
Look, I'm not against women. I'm not against,
because we're so sensitive, right? I'm talking about the society we live in.
Yeah.
We're so sensitive, and our feelings get hurt, and we can't, offend people.
But see, Anthony, that's where you and I differ. I don't believe they're really offended. I believe that they've learned that they can have you canceled if you say certain things. I don't believe they're really offended. They don't like what you're saying, but I don't believe that they're just going home and huddling up in a corner and crying.
I don't think it's even liking what they're saying. I think it causes them to have some sort of accountability.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The bar, they don't want the bar raised at all. They want to keep this status quo. Women are omnipotent. If you criticize women in any way, shape, or form, you're canceled. I don't like it. As you said earlier, when we were picking out very, very spicy serrano peppers at a place earlier today, that is their crutch. Is if they don't know how to get themselves out of this conversation rationally, logically, with facts, you're a sexist.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm past the point where I'm offended by that because it's ridiculous. I'm married. I have a daughter. I live with 2 women. If I hated women, I'd be a very miserable person, wouldn't I?
Yeah. It's hard.
It's okay to hold them to higher standards than society does. Society holds women, and that's pretty much the main reason this podcast exists.
Remember when
society has no standards for women.
Remember when you was in a group of friends and they were talking about, you should marry her, marry your wife, and all that, right? And it was like it was trying to censor you from your own sense of happiness or where you were at currently in your life. It was like, well, you can't be really happy if you're not doing what we had to do.
Yeah.
And people tend to do that. It's like, well, I had to go this route, so you have to.
Yeah, I'm not joining a fraternity, motherfucker. This isn't, you don't get to haze me. I don't have to go through the same bullshit, terrible experiences you went through if I can better myself, educate myself, and avoid them.
And your happiness doesn't have to be certified through their approvals.
No.
So that's the big thing about it. What I want to really drive home is that if you're censoring yourself to have whatever you say be approved by the people that are hearing what comes out of your mouth or the thoughts that you have in your head, you're only proving to them that their opinions matter than your own.
We just had a great comment here in the live stream on YouTube. It says people want you to be happy, just not as much more than them.
Right.
Yeah. That's what they really want. They have a certain bit of misery, so they want you to have a certain bit of misery. That's like these people that think that people on welfare should have drug tests. Is that what I want to do, Anthony? So you don't like spending money on welfare. These people don't. The people that I'm talking about. And I don't mean to get political, but only a moron doesn't understand, guys. And I don't care if you're left or right politically. Only a moron doesn't know. Welfare is for children, guys. That's what the whole program's invented for. Kids can't control if they were born into poverty. Their parents had them. Cool. This is a program so they can fucking eat and maybe not live in poverty later. That's what the whole program exists for. Kids don't have bank accounts, so we got to send the money to the parents. Okay? It's already costing money. What do I want to do? Do I want to spend more money and have them drug tested? Is that what I want to do? But the reason people want this, Anthony, is because they have to get drug tested. That's why. They get drug tested at work, and they don't like it. Well, if I got to get drug tested, well, I would argue, you shouldn't get drug tested either to work at a call center. If you're a fucking surgeon, or if you operate heavy machinery, definitely I think you should get a drug test. But what has happened is, and this is how business works, again, this is what my degree is in, guys, business. What happens is lobbyists go to Washington, and there were drug tests for like people that like needed drug tests. Like you should not be on methamphetamines if you're removing someone's kidney and putting in another one. Right?
Or driving an 18-wheeler.
That's the big one, right? Driving an 18-wheeler, because that's actually happened in that industry.
Yeah.
They've taken a bunch of uppers. They've had terrible accidents. People have been killed. But then the lobbyists go to Washington, and they're like, not only do they need to be drug tested, but if somebody works at a call center that's giving out reservations to La Quinta hotels, they shouldn't be on drugs either. Why? Because, I mean, what if they fuck that reservation up? No, not the same thing. And then we all end up spending way too much money on a program that doesn't make any sense. And next thing you know, someone's on Facebook wanting people on welfare to have drug tests too. Let me tell you a real story, guys. My parents were on drugs, and we were on forms of welfare. So what? Wesley's parents smoke weed? He can't eat now? Does that make sense, Anthony? Now little 8-year-old Wesley can't eat? Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But people communicate in this world from their own level of misery, don't they, Anthony?
All the time.
And this is what a big part of self-censorship is they live a sort of miserable life. They want to catch you speeding. In other words, saying the wrong word or sentence that you're not allowed to say, and they want to nail you to the fucking wall for it. And it's not because they're offended. And females, we talk about this on the show a lot, Anthony. Females are just playing verbal chess. Well, that word's not allowed. You automatically lose the whole game. Right?
Well, anything to stop the conversation in its tracks.
Right? Especially when you're making sense, right?
Yeah, because, if you focus on too many facts, now they feel like they gotta combat all of those things, and sometimes they don't even know those facts exist. So now they're working from a place of ignorance because they can't disprove what you said because they don't know what you said to be true. So where do they go from there if they don't know, they don't have a good rebuttal because they don't actually know all the facts, and they know your weakness is to come to their rescue.
Yeah.
So
especially, that's why they start crying.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now they play victim. Now that's when you get not all women. And then you're like, well, how do you know? And then they give you some obscure example that doesn't even flow into the conversation. And now you're like, well, that doesn't even make sense. And then, well, how you know? And it's like, well, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and then I know I've noticed before I became who I am today, I used to always play let me see, if I was in their shoes, how would I feel, or what would I think? Because let's say I'm debating you, and I'm debating you about facts versus facts, and I'm like beating you in the head with facts, and you're like got this puppy dog face because I just beat you in the head with too many facts that you don't know how to counteract on or counter debate on, and now I gotta like hold up because I'm like, oh shit, I beat him in the head too much.
Yeah, and tears, and then you even said earlier today, arms crossed.
Well, yeah,
turn around,
take their attention away from you.
Well, now I'm not going to talk to you.
This is the ultimate reason why guys conform to women who play this game. And I've talked about this in previous podcasts before about scaring the pussy away.
Yep.
And anytime the threat of pussy being taken from a man, he conforms. He censors himself. And he changes to keep the pussy intact in his vicinity. Please don't go away. Please don't go.
No. Please don't go. Yeah, girl.
You become boys to men or men to boys because now you're chasing. She was unable to match you logically, intellectually, what have you, and now she was able to flip it on his head, and now you're chasing her, and now she's in a position of control, and now you don't know how you got there. He was like, wait, I thought I was in control, and now all of a sudden
I'm not in control.
And she's crying, and now she's sad, and I'm the one who's wrong. So it's.
I mean, Anthony, this is a perfect example of self-censorship because you now have this learned behavior. Whatever gave me a bad, whatever kind of gave me a bad experience that time, I'm not going to repeat that.
Right.
Even though what I said was correct, even though I was correct, even though what I said was the truth, I'm just not going to say that so I don't have to deal with this behavior from her. And guys, the long-term consequences from that are tremendous. Very tremendous. Life-altering tremendous. Self-censoring and not being able to communicate. This is someone, Anthony, I'll always come to you because you're on the cutting edge of the dating scene. If you learn early on that they can't get with the program, keep them on the roster.
No.
Move them out.
Yeah. They gotta go.
Every time you hang out with them, it's another chance for them to manipulate their way into your lives, right?
Well, what it does is
maybe if the roster is kind of getting down to 2-3 girls, maybe mix them back in.
No.
Okay. I mean, I'm not disagreeing. I like what you're saying.
No, the reason I'm saying this is because you're the coach. Okay. They got to run the plays. Sometimes they have talent, and you say, okay, well, I can use your talent, but your talent doesn't override the direction I want to take this team.
Penny Hardaway.
So you have to run my offense, and if I give you a play and you don't run that play, I don't care if you scored. You're gonna come sit on this bench,
Stevie Francis.
and if you continue to act the fuck up and out of the program, I'll trade your ass, and I'll Bill O'Brien D-Hop trade your ass.
Wow, that was strong verbiage. That bad, huh?
Well, I can't have it. I mean, I can't have that on my because the thing is for me is that I do know where I want to go, and if you can't go in that direction, then if you can't take yourself away from the equation, I have to. So, I'll make that decision. I don't have a problem. I have a problem losing someone that I didn't have in the first place. Like, what will they benefit? How will they benefit me by basically telling me that how I want to live my life isn't the way they're wanting to be a part of it?
Well, I want to do a quick little dive into this because, I mean, you're the one that always says, and I always defer to you when it comes to rotations. I mean, you're the one that always says sometimes people just got to be a rebounder. She can't get with the program, but, man, she gives great head. What do you think?
Well, if the way you set up your squad or your team, you got to have a mindset of how do I want this team to operate?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the teams that you think that you want, if you get a whole bunch of rebounders, you're going to get blown out, especially when three-pointers are being made in the game.
Yep.
If the other team is shooting threes and they're not missing, rebounders don't mean shit in this game, right?
Yeah.
So, in everything in life, you got to be a balance. You got to have a balance in life. And if you don't, especially if you don't know what you're trying to do, and you never built a roster before, diversity is key. Like you can't that shit's bothering me, man. It is. I can't think straight.
You're like, I'm listening to the song Basketball Jones. I got a Basketball Jones. Sorry, everybody. I got Anthony off his point. Yeah, but no, I'm listening to this because you're like, look, if I've got a player that's a cancer and just absolutely is rebellious, cannot get with the program, forget relationship. You're saying she can't even make the roster.
Yeah, there's no more reason to explore because you can't add to my life.
Yeah.
You're trying to stop, pause, or take away, and that's not part of the program. So,
well, it's always one thing to self-censor and get with their program, right? That's what you're doing, guys, when you self-censor. When she does something and guys, there's a fine line. There is a time where you don't always have to express your thoughts, right? Anthony and I just went to my daughter's birthday party. My aunt. I don't know why the hell I said that. I was thinking about my aunt earlier, I guess. I don't fucking know. Maybe it was a Freudian slip. I don't know. My wife forgot all the sides. Do you remember this, Anthony?
Yeah.
Now, mind you, we were taking a lot of shit. We got a little piano for my daughter. There was a lot of shit we were bringing. Balloons and decorations. There's a lot of shit. But all the sides we were bringing got left. And I looked at my wife like, you fucking let me down. God damn it. You made these sides. If I'd have made the sides, I'd have made sure that they were packed. You made these sides. What the hell? You were packing everything, put it by the door. I was taking it out. But I didn't have a come to Jesus with her, right? I mean, you were sitting there. But there was a look exchanged like, you let the team down, homie. You know what I'm saying? You let the team down, homie. What the hell? But that look was enough. But if I was with a chick that wasn't on my program, I couldn't even give her that look, could I? How dare you?
What?
Don't you blame this on me? How dare you?
Or you would have had a why you look at me like that?
Yeah.
What was that about? Like, or it wouldn't.
And she's going to make it painful
even,
for you. Have this long conversation, right?
Or it wouldn't have even registered. It wouldn't even matter. Like, it would have been a shoulder shrug.
Right. It would have just been a shoulder shrug. But the look was enough. People make mistakes. There's no reason to take them out to the woodshed. I can tell you my wife does not make a lot of those mistakes. So I'm not going to abuse her either when something like that happens. But that look was not censored. The look was not censored. The look was like, God damn it. You know. But if you were dating someone like Angela from 90 Day Fiancé, Anthony, you better not even give her a sour look for a moment. She's going to make sure that you're on her program, not hers. Now, self-censorship is one thing. Anthony, we agree self-censorship is weak, right? When dealing with your rotation or relationships, right?
Well, I think it's not masculine.
Better said. Yeah. It's not masculine. Now with the XO, Anthony, if the XO was mad at the captain, you were in the Navy, I was not. If the XO was mad at the captain, would he self-censor to the captain?
In front of others, yes.
Yeah. 100%. Because XO's on the program.
Yeah.
And how the fuck does a program exist if there's not one true captain, right?
Right.
Don't send us your fucking 50-50 emails. Don't send us your relationships or 50-50 emails. You know how I know? And listen, you know what, people? Sometimes I can hear your frustration in your own mind before you even fucking send this shit over. Let me tell you something. There are plenty of podcasts that are going to show you and preach to you that 50-50 bullshit. And where's it led us? To a 50% divorce rate. Go listen to those podcasts. There's thousands of them.
What is a 50-50 relationship?
Exactly. No idea. Because have you ever been in one? Because I haven't.
No.
I've either had more power or she's had more power.
This is what the 50-50 relationship looks like in reality. Babe, I want to go on vacation. Where do you want to go? Well, I don't know. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
Well, maybe Jamaica?
No, we can't afford that.
I was about to say, yeah, it's not in the budget. Jamaica's not in the budget. We looked at Jamaica.
Oh, but now I said Jamaica, so now anything
anything but Jamaica's
shitty.
So you end up in Canada, right? You're in Toronto, Canada,
where everybody's really nice.
And you're trying to enjoy yourself. You take her out, and she's thinking about Jamaica.
Oh.
And why she couldn't go to Jamaica. She wanted to be in a bathing suit, Wesley.
Damn it.
Not covered up in fur coats and fake leather jackets.
Meanwhile, this bitch is seeing one of the most amazing natural marvels ever, Niagara Falls. But
Can't appreciate it.
She can't appreciate it. You know,
it's not Jamaica.
You know how I know 50-50 does not work ever? Y'all ever worked at a company where everything was 50-50? All the employees had the same amount of power? You ever worked at a company where the two people at the top had equal power? No, man. Not a successful company.
There's this, that's the Church of Sound Good.
The Church of Sound Good, yes.
It sounds good. There's a lot of people in the congregation saying amen, but it doesn't play out. It doesn't work out. And somebody has to be the leader. Somebody has to make the decisions. Somebody has to have the final decision. If you say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about taking us to Toronto.
I like this leadership. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There are no fucking options given. Toronto is the decision.
Anthony, you just gave a fucking perfect example of why you have to lead. Do you see how you just stopped all the problems?
Yep.
Just by taking a leadership role. Honey, I want to go to Montreal. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Honey, you ever been to Quebec? Bitches speak French there. It's pretty dope.
But this is the thing, Wesley. It's your fucking program.
Yep.
You're leading the program. You don't ask the players what plays the run. Because after that, they get on the court. They was like, Coach don't know what the fucking run. We going to run our own shit. So when you say, hey, we need to run our screenplay to get an open three. We're down by 2. And he was like, I got an open layup, Coach. What the fuck you talking about? Well, that's going to put us in overtime. And this guy I'm calling the play for, hasn't missed all game. What the fuck are you talking about? Well, I had an open layup, so I took that. I'm not going to. While I'm listening to you.
While I'm listening to you.
You don't even know what plays to call. Especially in crunch time. And it's clutch time. And when women lose respect for you, you can never get it back. You can't be like, you know what? I wasn't able to make a decision then, but I'm going to make a decision now. Nope. As soon as you give her the quote-unquote 50-50 fucking conversation about that she has equal fucking opportunity to make decisions as you do, then what you decide doesn't have to fucking play out because she has just this equal footing to make the decision as well. So who gets to choose whose decision is better?
Let me ask you this too. I like how in that scenario, Anthony, you made the reward. Your whole boat is happy. Right? Mm-hmm. That was the reward. Just by taking some real basic leadership, right? All the sailors are, hooray! We're going to port.
Right.
The captain doesn't say, hey, sailors. All right, hey, man. We're out here in the Pacific. Where y'all want to go, man? Man, I want to go to Japan. No, I want to go to Thailand. Everybody on the boat's pissed. Everybody. Except for like a few people that go to the destination.
Yeah.
But if the captain comes on the intercom and be like, fellas,
guess what?
We headed over to Thailand. We're going to dock up. We're going to go have a little bit of fun.
Exactly.
Captain's the greatest.
Yep.
Captain's the best.
Yep.
It was, and what you just described in that scenario, just a little bit of leadership, wasn't it?
Yep.
But didn't go crazy. You weren't solving every part of the Rubik's Cube, every side, every color.
Well, this is why women's pussy get wet when you take that leadership role.
Well, I ain't gonna be submissive, Michael. I'm sorry, that's a 90 Day Fiancé joke. It's a show you guys should watch.
It is very beneficial for you as a man to know what you want, say it, and do it. The more you're able to do that, the less talk you get, the less feedback you get, the less complaining you get. There is no way in the world that I'll be able to be in a relationship with a woman and take a leadership position and go forward, and she's fighting me the whole time. There's no reason to be in that relationship.
Well, I mean, you just brought up a good example of deciding, hey, we're going someplace for a vacation. It doesn't have to be that big of a scenario, does it?
No.
You could be like, hey, honey, don't worry about cooking tonight. I'm bringing home food.
Yeah.
Do you see that leadership? And this is going to get in y'all's kitchen because y'all do this a lot, don't you?
What do you
want to eat tonight?
Bullshit.
I don't know. What do you want to eat? Then just pick something. That should have never come out of your fucking mouth. The captain doesn't look at the XO. What do you want to eat tonight? Talking like a little child, right? Talking like a little toddler. What do you want to eat tonight? I don't know. What do you want to eat? Just pick something. Once you gave the XO the option for choices, stupid, wasn't it?
Well, what if they offer you something and you be like, nah, I don't want that. Hey, we have leftovers that we need to get rid of. Let's do that instead of ordering pizza.
Right.
Let's save that money. Well, the kids wanted pizza. Well, we have leftovers to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know, that is taking position. If you just so easily swayed based on what they're doing, now you got food you got to throw out because it went bad.
100%. Which is what? That's money you're throwing in the trash.
Yeah.
Because you're not running a program. You're not running a program. You should be so involved, and this is also part of leadership, guys. You should be involved in your house enough to where you have an inventory in your mind about what's going on in that kitchen so you can make informed fucking decisions on this kind of shit. I was embarrassed tonight that I didn't know if we had baking powder in our kitchen. I was embarrassed. I was like, I'm slipping. You ain't making the team if you don't know what the fuck's in your kitchen in your own house.
I mean, that's one little item. But
that's the kind of pressure I put on myself, Anthony.
Yeah.
That's the kind of pressure I put on myself, man. I'm like Drake out here. Everybody know pressure putting on myself. Man, but Anthony, what we talked about with this self-censorship, it's sad, right? It's weak.
Yeah.
Don't worry. These fellas get weaker out here. Let's talk about beyond censorship. Let's talk about there's no women in the room, and you're a guy, and you're going beyond censorship. Censorship means you're not going to talk. You're holding back communication. But beyond censorship is what Anthony and I like to call feminine indoctrination. Women don't even have to be in the room, and you're taking up for women, aren't you?
Yeah.
Anthony, would you share the story of the text thread that you sent over to me? I found it very humorous because I have flipped on this topic, and one of the topics you and I talk about on the show a lot, women that have tattoos.
Yeah.
I've seen women that can pull off tattoos. It's a very specific type of woman, and I'm convinced that chick would be hotter without the tattoos. Here's a strong, passionate view that I have, Anthony. I'm going to see if you agree. I think the feminine figure is so beautiful that you should not cover up 1 inch of it. I'm really passionate about it. I think the women's bodies just physically are so beautiful. You should not cover them up. Let me ask you a question, Anthony. Whenever you see a peacock in the wild, is the first thing you want to do is go over and spray paint some shit on it?
No.
A peacock is it's a beautiful creature. You know?
I
don't want to be like, well, let me go put some like West Side shit on it, spray paint.
Yeah.
Let me spray paint his head that's this royal blue. Let me spray paint it like orange. You know, let's change this shit up. No, man, why would you fuck with the female figure? Like I said, I've seen some bitches that have, mind you, the tattoos are very feminine tattoos.
Okay.
But for the most part, man, for me, I'm looking for chicks without tattoos, dude. Is that where you stand?
Oh,
I think tattoos is a masculine.
I would have to do a case by case basis.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
because some women do still look feminine with tattoos.
Yeah.
Also, specifically, if we're going to say case by case, there are some women that have some physical flaws, and the tattoos kind of move your eyes away.
Right.
Like if there's a lot of stretch marks in one certain area or something, a beautiful, but it's got to be feminine tattoo can look good.
So it can't be a tattoo of Tupac?
It can't be a tattoo of Tupac. I don't want to look at Tupac when my bitch is naked. It's not what I want.
I think that for me, that's what it is, man. Like, you got these fucking Harris County tattoos on women. It's like, who did you let do that to your body, right? And then I do look at tattoos on where they're placed, because it also lets me know that for this tattoo to exist, something on you had to be exposed for hours.
Right.
So there's things like that I think about, right? It is what it is. It's not that because you have tattoos that you're eliminated from being a
contention.
Right. It's just that there's things that make that cross my mind. I'm an analytical thinker. I think deeply sometimes. So
most of the time, actually,
it's like I can't not unsee it, right? Once I do, and then when you tell me that, let me see, the guy. This is my question I posed.
Yeah, because this is leading up to a story where this gentleman doesn't even need bitches around, and he's spouting all the feminine shit.
It's very disappointing. But
so you're in a group text, right?
Yeah, a group text, all men, and I posed a question because I talk the way I talk on this show. How do y'all feel about bitches and tattoos? Do you have a limit? Does it turn you off at some point? I'm talking about after the fucking point. Gotta clarify that part for you motherfuckers. So, because you can be with a bitch that has bad tattoos and want to fuck her. But I'm saying, after that, the tattoos start to matter a little bit more after you've had sex, right?
Right.
And, there was various answers talking about, they can do with tattoos, but no face tattoos. That's like that. That's the limit,
Well, I've seen beautiful fucking bitches with face tattoos. Do you know who Kat Von D is?
No.
Kat Von D is one of these women where I give a pass to because she is a tattoo artist. She's a tattoo artist, so how the fuck are you going to be a tattoo artist? You don't have face tattoos. You see her, and she is added to that. That used to not be as many stars. But Kat Von D in her heyday was a beautiful bitch. These pictures are terrible. But Kat Von D was not only a beautiful bitch, but she was one of the most respected tattoo artists in the country. As a matter of fact, this tattoo on my arm was one of the main... her name's Wendy Ramirez. We'll give her a plug. She owns Dovetail Tattoo in Austin, Texas. Wendy Ramirez was a mentor of Kat Von D. So I was very proud to get this. You see what Kat Von D, Anthony, looked like in her heyday. Mm. And beautiful girl, right? But
she definitely hit the wall.
But she's a chick. So she also came out with this this makeup that you can put on your skin, and she did a photo shoot where it covers up your tattoos. This makeup does, and she looked hotter without tattoos, Anthony.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
But another response was no tats that tell a stripper story. I thought that was funny. Tattoos are cool. It's a fine line between art and ghetto was another response, right? Another one. Okay, so this same guy makes this response. No problem with tats as long as they're not in the face. That doesn't make the pussy whack or good. So again,
but I mean, everything's sounding okay so far. Sounds like guys having conversations.
Yeah.
No problems so far, right?
My response to that was like, I'm talking about past fucking her. Like, I'm trying to illuminate the part where, okay, guys, I know you're thinking with your dick, but after you fucked her, and you have to deal with her after fucking her, how tolerant are you with tattoos at this point? And some guy said she's automatically a side piece. Do not advance to go.
Wow.
Yeah. If it's too many tats, I'm not taking her around anybody I know.
Can you take her to church? And now, let me ask a specific question. Can you take her to church in the black community?
I mean, tats have been accepted widely at this point. I don't think tattoos are.
I just didn't know how conservative it was over there. I know the black community church is pretty conservative over there.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just. I mean, it's just not that serious anymore. The church claims. See, that's fucking disgusting. The church has changed a lot, I think. Let's see this. What do you say? A few cool but face tattoos, chest tattoos, tats that look like she got them in the joint. Nope.
You know what's what I find gross, since we're on the subject of tattoos?
What?
Tattoos on the titties.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, somebody asked me in the in this group, like, why am I worried about it?
Oh, really? You can't just fucking talk to your boys with why are you worried about it? So is this the gentleman that the story is about to ramp up on?
Yes.
Because I want to get to this. So so I didn't know he started like that. I only got a portion of this text thread. Why are you worried about it? What's the problem? Why are you judging these gorgeous queens?
He said, past fucking her, I'll bring her around my grandma. If we vibe, laugh, share, and make bread, fuck what anybody has to say. A broad with glasses, church upbringing, and a chastity belt can fuck over you.
Okay, just because you're right about that doesn't mean you're right about the other thing.
Look, this is my response to that. I said, true, but that's not what I'm worried about. And that's when he says, what are you worried about then? And then I says, the lack of femininity. And then he says, I mean, we all have our limits, to each his own. So does a lot of tats on men mean a lack of masculinity?
Boy, I tell you what. Have you ever seen the Incredible Hulk movie where the Hulk is jumping? He makes he can jump 3 miles.
Yeah.
That's about what he did at that jump of logic right there.
Man, I was like, I can't believe this is. And then he ain't finished. He said, come on, bruh, make it make sense. And then another guy jumps in. It's a double standard. Women like tats on men. I only have one, though. And then Mark, I mean, damn.
Like we said earlier, if you say double standard, you're probably beta. Because that is woman talk, man.
And then he jumps in and he says, okay, but imagine if a woman said what Anthony said, y'all. Y'all would have cursed that broad out like she owed you money and slapped your mama.
Well, we're not saying we'd be violent on some bitch.
I don't get that. Like, I don't think that's masculine at all. The response of that is masculine at all. But he said he said it. But imagine if a woman said what I said.
Yeah, like they're not as masculine. Okay, so let's just go through that scenario. Let's just play it out. He's saying, man, y'all would hate if women said that men are less masculine because they have tattoos. First of all, that makes no sense. But let me follow him down this road of making no sense. Because, Anthony, you brought this up in a recent phone conversation. If you said some shit about me, or we may have said this on the podcast, talking about how women or people will say things about you, the more untrue it is, the less it bothers you, right?
Right.
So, Wesley, that big-ass fucking tattoo you have across your whole chest, I feel like that makes you less masculine. That'd be like, okay, bro. You win. Yeah, you win.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you're totally right. You fucking moron. You know what I'm saying? But the reason that really hit home is because, yes, that does make a woman less feminine. To have a lot of tattoos does not make you less masculine, guy or girl, by the way. But it does make you less feminine because it's kind of a masculine fucking thing.
And
right?
they're both, and masculine and femininity are total different energies.
Yeah. Now,
you as a man can have feminine energy.
100%. And by the way, we do have feminine energy.
Right.
It's all about the percentage of what do we have
exactly.
in that moment, masculine versus feminine. And women have masculine energy. But we would rather be around a woman that's in her feminine energy with us if they're in a rotation or if they're in a relationship with us. My wife is a tough broad. We were talking about this earlier, how there's someone that she knows that has way more feminine energy. Remember this person we were talking about? And trying to kind of friend up with her, and she's just like, you're just not a tough enough broad, you know. I don't come with that weak white girl shit that you come with, where there's like a patriarchy and, you know, get drunk and start crying and get very dainty. And my wife was a fucking, you know, I'm sorry, what in college, what is the top college? UT is a 1A?
D1.
D1. She was fucking recruited D1 field hockey in Maryland, dude. That's a full contact sport and one of the only female full contact sports out there. She's got a bit of masculine energy in her. But when she's with me, that subsides. She's on my program. Right, Anthony?
Yeah. We got a comment in the
live
chat.
The more tattoos, the more daddy issues. Some use tattoos to mark their challenges in life. I don't know if that's a steadfast rule. I think it's mostly right.
Yeah, I think that
it's
was
mostly right.
I think that was the beginning of the culture. Like, tattoos meant something, right? Like, that was a reason why you got a certain tattoo. And and that's always like the conversation, like, oh, what does that tattoo mean? What was that? Why did you get that tattoo? You know, some people just got drunk stories, but other people was like, hey, you know, I've overcame this, or this represents my siblings, or this is where I grew up, and you know, I missed that place, and it made me who I was. You know, I've heard very interesting tattoo stories. But
I've been deep in the tattoo community, Anthony, and you know what the move is when you're like deep in the tattoo community. When people ask you about your tattoos, you act like it means nothing, even though it does mean something. Like, even though it does mean something. Like,
I just like ink.
Well, for example, on my left arm, I love the sport of fighting. I was a fighter. So my favorite fighting animal is on my left arm. It's a rooster. It's a big rooster. It covers me from top of my shoulder all the way down to my elbow. And has pompadour hair like me and shit. It's very, very specific to me. But if anyone ever asks me, I pull that total like tattoo community move. Oh, why do you have a rooster on why do you have a rooster on your arm? I don't know, man. I just thought rooster was cool that day. Whatever. In the tattoo community, you're supposed to act like you don't give a fuck. It's like, Wesley, why do you have a number 13 on your arm? One time I saw the number 13 on my watch, and I was like, I'm going to get that shit tattooed today. Just what the fuck ever. I don't give a fuck, man. I'll tattoo whatever the fuck on me. I don't give a fuck, man. But realistically, I got it on Friday the 13th. Like when they were giving tattoo specials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the real story, but in the tattoo community, it's like, I don't know, man. I was like, tattoo whatever the fuck you want to tattoo on me. And that's what he did. And that's just how fucking badass I am, man. I'm permanently put shit on my body and I don't give a fuck.
My body's an open canvas and shit. Like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. Yeah,
I don't know what that shit is. He just did it. I was like, cool.
I woke up the next morning, motherfucker tattooed a whole graveyard on the back of my fucking arm. I don't fucking care, man. That's how fucking gangster I am, man.
That's crazy.
I don't care, man. Yeah, that's a big move in the tattoo community, by the way. I don't know, man. I mean, we're Googling right now, and we see a lot of beautiful bitches with tattoos, right? There are a lot of beautiful bitches with tattoos, but I'm gonna be honest, man. Given the choice, I love that my wife has no tattoos. I think my wife is the first chick that I've ever dated or been with in the last, before her, the last fucking decade, girl without a tattoo, man.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to find a woman with no ink. I'm not saying that any of it is like automatically dismisses her, and like it doesn't really bother me. I just found it funny that when I did bring it up as a subject amongst men, that I was damn near having to like defend my own fucking topic discussion.
Yeah, what's weird is there was not a woman in the room, to be had, but there were women voices in the room defending women, weren't there?
Yeah, and I even asked him, I said, if as a man you're worried about tattoo equality, I would beg you to stop. Double standards exist. We don't say they're not tall enough, but they do. When you talk about,
especially
height.
on the dating apps, right?
Yeah, we don't give a fuck about women's height, but they give a fuck about our height, right? And I was like, same shit. I'm talking amongst men. So I thought, what do we give a fuck about? Not their ever-changing desires. Somebody else chimes in and tell him that, hey, they don't say that about us. They say stuff to us like, if we don't make enough money. So he was bringing up another equality example or inequality example. But, it goes on and on about it before the subject changes up. But yeah, I just thought it was real weird that even amongst men, we tend to censor ourselves and not only censor ourselves, but take up the plight of women amongst men. And it's like we can't even be men amongst ourselves without having someone taking up the plight of a woman. Don't we have to do that when we're around them enough anyway? To the point where now, even amongst, you think you're in a so-called safe zone to discuss man shit, just your opinions, that you can't because somebody's going to stand up for women in there. I remember when Patrice O'Neal was talking about, he said some random shit about, hey man, you think you can fuck a girl without a nose? And then he was like, without a nose? He was like, yeah man, I'm talking about like, no nose. It's just two holes in the face. Like, and guys are just contemplating, can I fuck her? oh, what would the head look like? What was there was like they're contemplating like what would it be like to fuck a girl with no nose, and then you're talking amongst men. Can you have that same conversation amongst women without women saying, "What the fuck are y'all even talking about? That makes no sense." I mean, with no nose, how is she going to be protected? There's no, how do you smell? What are you taking away? The entire nose, the bridge of the nose? Like, there's so much conversation to be had that would be unnecessary. We're still focused on, hey, can you stomach fucking a bitch with with a hole in her face, in the middle of her face? That's what we're trying to discuss, and that's the difference between how men and women can talk, because we can talk about a specific topic and discuss exactly what we're discussing without having to bring in all this extra shit. But you got men who will do that because they've heard women break up conversation like this all the time with unnecessary bullshit. So that was my this just happened not too long ago, so I was like caught off guard by it, but I wanted to share that because it was like, why are we doing this to ourselves? I mean, it happens enough to us already outside, but why would we do this to ourselves as men? Like, do we? And I was almost like questioning, like, can you call yourself a man by taking up the plight for women? Because now you're taking up a feminist mindset as a man. And even amongst other men, you're doing this. It's like no one's being offended in here. Like, there's no vagina in here. Like,
you don't have to be. Well, not all women with tattoos.
It just baffled me, Wesley. That's why I shared that with you. I was like, you know what, man? Maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm too far in a red pill, and I'm just
no. And Anthony, have you ever seen a YouTube video called "Dear Woman," where these male feminists? Well, guys, y'all can look that up. But there's this, male feminists that are apologizing to women.
Oh, you showed me that
they've
before.
gone through.
Yeah, you showed me that before.
Well, there is a parody of this that I'm going to play for our listeners. It's just a quick 4-minute clip, and it's called "Dear Woman," but it's a parody of it. And this is pretty much what male feminists sound like to me, man.
Dear woman, we stand before you today as men committed to becoming more conscious in every way.
We feel deep love, great respect, and a growing sense of worship for the gifts of the feminine. We also feel deep sorrow about the destructive actions of the unconscious masculine in the past and present.
We want to apologize and make amends for those actions in order to bring forth a new era of co-creation with you. As I become more conscious, I grow more aware of the play of masculine and feminine energy within me, within you, and in all of life. Free and open like the sky.
I commit to owning and
Anthony's
stewarding a masculinity that honors and celebrates us as equals.
We can create great miracles together by nurturing each other in a conscious way.
Throughout history, men have unfairly oppressed you.
Many of the men who have oppressed you or abused you are no longer alive. I apologize for them dying before they had the chance to apologize.
I honor your deep connection to the earth.
As men, we apologize for social constraints we've placed on your natural body hair.
In the mid-'80s, we discouraged you from growing out a pelty bush. We honor your musty thicket of wonders as we would a humid swamp in an equatorial climate.
When we nurture each other through our bodies with awareness and devotion, there are no boundaries.
This is what this guy sounds like in the group text.
We apologize for debasing you in all manner of pornography, whether it be guy on girl or girl on guy.
We're sorry if you don't find guy on guy more appealing.
I apologize that my masturbation fantasies are not entirely respectful to your feminine being. Sometimes, when caught up in the throes of self-pleasure, I let my imagination drift to thoughts of your nude body. I apologize for the pain that my fantasies must have caused you.
Throughout time, male historians have diminished your role in world events, even retroactively revising the gender of famous historical figures.
Today we acknowledge that several of Jesus' apostles and Benjamin Franklin were most likely women.
I honor every part of your glorious femininity.
From your uterine lining,
your labia majora,
your internal spermatic vessels,
your perineum,
your butthole,
even your duodenum.
History is now our story.
And it doesn't have to be meningitis. It can be you-ingitis.
Hysterectomy can be we-sterectomy.
I apologize for all masculine offenses, both conscious and especially unconscious. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was unconscious.
We have tortured you, taunted you.
We have burned you at the stake. We have dropped you down very tall hills.
I fucked your best friend, I didn't tell you.
Fed you food that was undercooked or cooked not at all.
And performed lewd hip-hop raps about you. For these misdoings, we deserve to feel nothing but hurt.
As a woman, you are connected to the soil and the dirt, the rocks and wind, and I honor that.
I honor your hair and will leave your hair be where I find it and not put it together into a wig and wear it wherever I am.
I know that by leaving the past behind and joining hands in the present,
we can create a synergy of strengths.
Together, there is nothing we cannot do.
Together, we can make
miracles. Together, we can make miracles.
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 It was very touching, Anthony. ConsciousMen.com. Anthony, I don't know, maybe that may have just swayed me, man. Maybe I should get indoctrinated too. Was that incredibly cringy yet humorous to you, Anthony? Poor Anthony had to go through that whole thing.
Yeah, I really was torn from reality.
I would like to apologize for fantasies I've had about you, both conscious and unconscious. I'm sorry, I was unconscious.
There's what woman is listening to that and it's like, you know what? For that apology, here's some pussy.
Here's some pussy.
There's no
nope
attraction to a man that's coming with that rhetoric, that's trying to play that role. Like you'll get a hand clap.
Yeah.
You'll get a round of applause. Like there are women that will applaud you for being, for it's like, oh, you stood up for me when I didn't have to. And it's like, but what did it benefit you as a man amongst men? How does it benefit you? And how does it benefit you going forward? Does it make you a better man?
Anthony, we've got a breaking feminist quote here from Farhan Akhtar, who says, "We have to tell men that if you do not treat women as equals, if you do not treat your sons and daughters as equals, if you hit a woman, if you molest a woman, then you are not to be a part of this society." I hate when people say things to get a round of applause that literally no one would disagree with. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well,
I'd like to say, Anthony, right here and right now on this podcast, if you shoot someone and murder them by shooting them in the face, you deserve to serve time in prison.
Well, there's the obvious. Yeah, no one disagrees that. Actually, There are already laws that exist about that. So there's no change needed. No change needed for that.
Wait, Anthony, did you just say that there's laws against that kind of shit?
Yeah. So
there's
no need to propagate and scream from the hills and mountains about that.
Yeah. You just that like you said, that's just all applause. That's just all applause porn, right?
You know how you get in these Facebook groups and, women will have their conversation and it's like he's talking amongst men, but he forgot there's like no women there, so he don't have to like come to their rescue with the conversation, and it's just like, oh shit, oh it is just men in here, so I don't have to fake it. I don't have to pretend that I care how women feel about this topic.
Anthony, you talked so much in the beginning of the podcast about how we can arrive at conclusions like right here, like real time, because we're talking about cutting edge shit here. And Anthony, I just arrived at a conclusion. If you physically beat up women or women, you should serve prison time. And I'm passionate about it. And you know what? A lot of you may disagree with me, but that's just how I feel. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a rebel.
You're willing to stand alone. Okay. Gotcha.
No, you're right, man. It's so sad to watch guys take that bullshit feminist approach. We talked about this before, Anthony. Women that talk about the patriarchy and talk about how bad they got it here in the West. We were pointing out, and you can Google this, there was literally a female governor in 1924. Yes, 1924. And she was governor of Texas, one of the largest states in the whole fucking union. This wasn't some Rhode Island bullshit, Anthony.
Conservative state.
Conservative state. Y'all bitches been governors since 1924. So I don't want to hear anything about equal rights, patriarchy. I don't want to hear this shit, dude. Because also during 1924, y'all know what y'all had to fucking do? Stay home, take care of the kids. You didn't even have to fucking work. And what were you pointing out earlier today, Anthony? They wanted so bad to go to the workplace.
Yeah.
So bad. They wanted to have independence and freedom.
Yeah.
Now what do they bitch about?
Having
to go to the
have
workplace.
to go to work.
Yeah, that's just not as fucking cool as y'all thought, is it? And you would almost think that they'd be like, damn, we were bitching and moaning about this. We didn't realize all the shit y'all were going through in the workplace. This is crazy.
It goes to what I always talk about, how women want everything. They want everything and they want it all. And it's like the satisfaction. Is that the word?
Satisfaction?
The satisfaction.
Satisfaction. We need to write these words down. The ones we invent on the podcast. The satisfaction.
I sound like fucking George Bush in this bitch. Strategery. Yeah, the satisfaction of women is very difficult to complete. Like you can't make a woman completified. you can't make a woman happy because she will find something else that she's not happy about eventually. So that is more of my stance on it, and I can't stress to you enough that your happiness is what matters, because she will find her own happiness in yours. That is a woman getting with your program. We talked about this earlier. Women are designed to follow a man that has a plan for himself.
Your example earlier was perfect about Where do you want to go on a vacation? And then now she's like, I have this fantasy of vacation and blah, 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 blah. You know, all this shit, right? But if you just came home and like, honey, I've got a little bit of a surprise for you. Put on a dress, get the kids dressed. I've got some special news. Go out to dinner. What is it? What is it, Dad? Are we getting a piano? What? Guys, I know that traveling and going to other countries is a pretty big part of us becoming more worldly, becoming more aware of the planet that we live on. Guys, September 12th, we're heading to Montreal.
Hey.
We're headed to, kids, we're headed to Canada.
You know, and you know what? One of the things that I used to do is give out homework assignments for things. It's like, this is what we're going to do. You're in charge of finding out where we're going to go as far as things to do.
Passing out leadership like a captain does, right?
Yes. Oh. You're going to find out the places that we want to eat. There's going to be the most awesome places to eat there. And you're going to find out.
Here's your budget, by the way. Can't go over this budget.
Well, of course, you know. But there's things to include to make them feel a part of the decision, even though you made the decision. Right? So when we go and do things, you can't complain about the shit because this is part of you being a part of making sure that we all have fun in the scenario. Hey, if you all come back with shit that's like preposterous and I'm like, I don't want to do none of this shit. If I'm gonna take us out here, we're gonna see some culture. We're gonna do something that's gonna be memorable. We're not gonna be going to the fucking skating rink unless it's the largest fucking skating rink in the world. You know what I'm saying? It has to have some significance to it on why we're going. We can't go to the bowling alley unless it's the most
popular sport in Canada or some shit. Yeah.
It has to have some significance of why we went there, because we're not going to go get hot dogs there. You know what I mean? Unless Nathan Hot Dogs is manufactured there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to have some significance to why we're doing something there. So that would be my final decision, and if they came back with me with bullshit. But being able to pass out assignments for something you decided to do is part of them being included into them being in the decision, right? So them doing the research gets them more excited, because guess what? They're going to find out new things that they didn't know about that place. And now they're going to be like, oh, that would be cool. I would want to do that. You know, so, and let's say they all want to do something that's crazy and we can't do it because logistically it doesn't work. Then we have to come into a vote, say, hey, these are the things that we got. This is what we compiled to. We can do 2 of the 5 things that's listed. Which of the 2? Let's do a family vote. You know what I mean? Like, is it a 50-50 relationship? I'm still leading, yet I'm letting them be a part of the leading.
No reason that a captain has to be a domineer dictator, right?
Nope.
We can make this boat a lot more fun. Didn't you give me a specific story back in the day about the captain asking questions like, hey, your captain would ask questions like, hey, what are you guys thinking about the meals?
Yeah, he was asking about the food, how happy we were about the food, and what would we want for food, because we normally, when you're underway means you're out at sea. When you're underway for more than 2 weeks, even the captain gets antsy about, okay, we haven't, sometimes you don't even see land that entire time. So you kind of get a little like land, you miss land. You just gotta, visually you want to see land somewhere.
There's just something physical inside you.
Yes, that say, hey, we haven't seen land for a while. It takes us 2 weeks to go from Florida to see land. If we're crossing the Atlantic Ocean, it takes us 2 weeks.
Wow.
To cross the ocean to get into. We would normally pull into Portugal, which is the most western part of Spain.
Gotcha.
So Portugal is its own country, so most western part of Portugal. But
yeah,
that would be what we would see, other than some smaller islands that exist before that.
But was that even like a treat to see islands?
Yes, any land is like civilization. Okay.
Well, I mean, did these islands have like people on them and shit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. When you're at sea, especially at night, any light it illuminates the sky. So
really,
yeah, because it's just like the stars in the sky. Any light that's like it's complete darkness. So any light is like a beacon.
I've never asked you this before, but I bet the stars out on the ocean, I bet they're like bright as fuck.
Oh man,
huh?
You get to literally see the entire constellation as it
Really?
exists. It is one of the most purest ways to see the stars is at sea, because you're not near land where pollution is keeping you from seeing all the stars, and that's where you can actually see the constellation as it exists. I remember seeing the Milky Way for the first time in this at sea. I was like, damn, this is the Milky Way. That's kind of cool.
And this is a great segue. Coming next week, guys, we're going to have the Red Pill Astronomy podcast coming next week.
I don't know who's going to teach that course.
I don't know who's going to teach that. Let's segue into our last part of the podcast. And this we kind of segued really, really well into gentlemen that are indoctrinated. They always have like these theories that they hear from women. Well, relationships got to be 50-50. Women need equality. Women don't have equality. You know they're not paid the same as men, right? You know, stop loving people for what's on the outside and love people for what's on the inside. And what this is, guys, is, as Anthony says, this is all coming out of the Church of Sound Good, right?
Yep.
Because it does sound good coming out of your mouth, you know? What's something that occurs naturally, Anthony, where it sounds like it'd be like this way, but it's really this way? There's a lot of examples in science, and it's escaping me right now, where it seems like it would be this way, but really and truly, it's not like that at all. It's this complete other opposite way. I'll think of one. Because the Church of Sound Good is
like
not
an oxymoron.
No. I'm thinking more like, like you and I both worked in air conditioning, right? And we know that eventually there's limitations to one machine, and then you have to completely invent something new, right? There's limitations to window units, like from the 1980s.
Yeah.
Because if you want to, condition and make cool an entire shopping mall, you would have to have thousands and thousands of AC units. So instead, you have hundreds of rooftop units, right? But what you could do instead, if you want to cool an entire office building, you got to have what? You got to have a glycol chiller, right? So you have to keep changing the technologies. But in the Church of Sound Good, an office building would just have window units in every window all the way up, right? But it would cost like 700 times more energy, right? You know what I mean? There's just things that sound good to people that are just not true, you know? Well, hey, no building's got more windows than an office building. Just put a window unit in every in every office, and it cools the whole thing, no problem. Churches sound good, right? It would be impossible to manage this kind of shit. And guys, Church of Sound Good is where women will live. And we're going to talk specifically here in this segment about men that have been indoctrinated, and you're repeating their strategies, and you're living your life because women have told you this is what they want. You're living out the strategies that they're saying. For example, when a woman says, don't look at a person on the outside. Love people for like what's on the inside. And then all you do for the next 10 years is you make yourself the most altruistic, kindest person on the inside that you can possibly be. Well, let me tell you guys, she's still going to go fuck Chris Hemsworth. She's going to give you all these thumbs up. Man, that's dope. All right. Yeah, you are a great person. Cool. Can we fuck? No, we ain't going to fuck. That's just crazy. I'm fucking Chris Hemsworth. And you start to wonder, why do women say this? Why do women mislead me? I thought I had to just be the nicest guy and I would get all the best women. They told me this is what the strategy is. And let me tell you specifically, guys, what this is all about. This isn't a strategy for you. This is a strategy they want you to adopt because it's for them. Specifically, using the same example of don't look at what's on the inside. On the outside. Look at what's inside. This is a bitch that's approaching the wall, and she needs to Jedi mind fuck you into thinking you don't want that really hot girl that's 5 years younger than me and way more fertile than me and has beautiful blonde hair and shit. Ask yourself the question, guys. Have you heard women dogging on beautiful blonde-haired women? Why is that allowed? Those girls were just born with blonde hair. What's the fucking problem? The problem is they're not beautiful and blonde, so they just want to dog on them. The problem is they're getting old. They're approaching the wall. So now they want you to change your strategy and not look at what's on the outside, but look at what's on the inside. And it's really hilarious, Anthony, because most of these bitches don't have anything on the inside, do they? It's just an old thought that wants to try to Jedi mind fuck you into changing your strategy, right?
She's trying to extend her not life,
her shelf life.
Yeah, shelf life.
Yeah.
She's trying to extend that because she know the outside is going to deteriorate, and the thing is, she will hone in. You gotta realize something, guys. She's gonna hone in on the individual guy because she can't give this rhetoric to a bunch of guys. She's gonna hone in on a specific guy. Hopefully, it's not you, and you're in a bad place where you don't understand this or see what's happening. And she's gonna convince you that all her outer things that are deteriorating, that are losing, that you may not find attractive, that doesn't matter.
Because there's something more valuable on the inside, Anthony.
But the whole time before she's giving you this speech, she wasn't living that life.
Right.
You can't talk to me. You don't look like this. You don't have that. Do you see what I look like?
What the fuck?
So now all of a sudden, the rhetoric has changed, and it's not about what I look like. It's about what I can give you other than looks.
Yeah.
It's funny how you wasn't able to do that when you had looks. When I asked you, what can you bring? And all of a sudden now, you can come up with shit.
Yeah. Also, I also think it's very funny how when you say that you've got something inside, I can't see that.
Not at all.
I got to take your word for it.
Yeah, fuck that. I'll never take what you say you can do. I'll only fuck with what you show me you can.
Well, I'm beautiful on the inside. Well, okay, you can't see what you look like inside.
I'm going to ask my dick what you look like on the inside. Be like, hey, she beautiful? Let me know.
You know what I want, Anthony? I just want a guy that's like super like funny and just can make me laugh. I just want a guy that can make me laugh. Then you spend the next 5 years starting your stand-up career. Right?
You know what, man? Because that's a very popular saying from women about men that can make them laugh.
But you tell all the funniest jokes, but she's dating Idris Elba. Right?
Right. The thing is, man, that's another making her laugh is another thing of I want to be entertained. That's the woman speak of. I want you to entertain me. I want to enjoy myself. It has nothing to do about you, okay? Everything she's saying is about for her benefit. So when you change yourself to be something for her to accept you for, just understand that by the time you make yourself that, she'll change her mind on what the fuck she wants. Or actually tell you the truth of what she wants. And by that time, she don't want you because she wanted something different, yet she told you what she wanted that wasn't true. And now you're like pissed, like, what the fuck?
The gentleman that was indoctrinated on that text thread you were describing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much vagina he gets by making sure everything's equal.
Well, that's
a double standard. I mean, men get tattoos and they're not called like more feminine. Stupid.
That don't even make sense.
It doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't make sense, man. And
when his feminist argument doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It dumbs you down to think like them. It dumbs you down.
But this dude is just running around the world trying to get the world equal. Trying to be the white knight.
Let me tell you what happened to me today in a text message. Somebody asked me, how is your day going? And I said stupendously, right? On like the iPhone, it has like the question mark you can put next to something if you don't understand what they're coming from or something. I looked at that and I got turned off because I was like, even if you don't know what that word means, if that's a new word to you, a new term to you, you don't understand it, you're going to be that lazy to the point where you won't even look it up. So I got to dumb myself down to give you the definition of the word or use a different word to make you understand how my day was going because the word I use is beyond your vocabulary limit. Like, I was just, I don't know. Was that too harsh? Because I know I'm King Cut Off, but is that too harsh to cut somebody?
To have standards of IQ?
Yes.
Bitches in your rotation?
Even if you don't know the word, you are lazy. You are too lazy to look it up yourself.
Right.
Like, if someone throw a word at me, then I'm like, wait a minute, let me look this word up. Let me make sure that I understand what the word means, and make sure they understand what the word means. Because I don't want to be in here agreeing or disagreeing with them not knowing what the fuck it means, right? So it's like, I'm not going to dumb myself down with even a response to you. I'm just going to leave that shit on red. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fucking even respond to you on this shit.
Yeah. We've said this quote on this podcast before. And I just think about your male feminist guys, the ones that are out there fighting this fake fight, because women in the West have never had it better than any women have ever had it ever in the history of fucking females of any fucking species ever. We just mentioned there was a female governor of Texas in 1924. Look it up. But it brings me back to this quote. When these male feminists step in, it brings me back to this quote that we talk about in this podcast time and time again. You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you are capable of great violence. If you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless. important distinction. That's what these guys that are male feminists come across to me as. They come across to me as these harmless little creatures. You know, that dog that pees the carpet because it gets so excited when you got home. You know, oh, damn it! No, don't do it! Don't do it! And it just pees all over the place. You're like, God, fucking damn it! Every time I come home, and shit, and it's like on its side, and it's just like showing its belly to you. It's like all like, that's what these guys are like to these women. And guys, if you think that these women are attracted to that, Jesus Christ, bro. That is not how these ladies are wired. Not at all.
There's this chick that reaches out to me once a year, right?
You're like, it's like Christmas.
It's like Christmas.
It's like Thanksgiving.
It's like Christmas. She reaches out to me because, and I know, and for whatever reason, I used to respond, but this year I was like, listen, she was like, hey, it's that time of year again. And I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? And I'm like, oh, this bitch. So, she wanted me to do something for her. And I'm like, listen, I'm not doing that anymore. So, if you want help, here's a number you can call to get help, but I'm not doing that shit no more. And so she was like, well, I don't understand. Like, you know, I need help. Well, you can find help elsewhere. Like, I'm not going to be a fucking doormat for you to step on as you see fit. Maybe you get away with this shit elsewhere, but it's a sheer level, it's a high level of disrespect to me to think that you can repeatedly do this over and over again and think that I'm just going to follow.
Well, hold on. I need more details on this. Like, this is like once a year hookup?
No.
Oh, well then that's not. Why is that beneficial to you?
It's not. It's not. That's why I was like,
that never crossed her mind, did it?
No, never. It's my benefit. I need it. You're a man. You should provide it because I'm a woman. That's how shit goes. And I guarantee you that's as far as she thought about it.
Jesus. So she just wants to reach out and talk on the phone?
Not even a talk. Not a conversation. Just to help provide her service because every year she needs it. And
service.
Yeah. So it's like, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to even provide you any help to get it because I used to work in AC industry.
Yeah, I mean, there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, bitch. I mean, what the fuck she think this shit is?
I have no idea, man. It just caught me off guard because I was like, what the fuck? Because I saw the name and I was like, the fuck is this about? I was like, well, I'm not going to talk to him. And I was like, listen, I can't talk. What's up? And they came with the same rhetoric. I said, I can't believe this shit. Really? I was like, I'm good, man. I'm so fucking good. I don't have anything for you.
But that's just puzzling to me.
Well,
I just, you don't seem like the type of person. I'll put it to you like this, Anthony. We've known each other for a long time. If we just stopped talking, all of a sudden, I would not feel entitled to reach out to you like once a year. Hey, man, just wanted to tell you Happy Easter. You know what I'm saying? I need you to come out here and change out this AC filter for me. So I guess I'll see you around 3, or I wouldn't approach you like that. I don't know. That's a lot of confidence, isn't it?
Well, you gotta understand, man. Anytime you white knight or you
they white knight.
Well,
anytime they white knight.
Well, I'm saying men. Anytime men white knight, they feel like that's what your role is, to rescue them. No matter what the issue is, if you have shown the not ability, but the cognitive want to help them, they're gonna be like, well, I can use you for that. That's their value to me. Anything beyond that is I don't need. But if I can use you, then I'm gonna use you. So, it does.
And I bet you, for this segment, I bet this girl would be on the internet like, I need a man that's like dating with a purpose. dating for her purpose.
Well, yeah. Like, I got a guy for.
Where are the real men at?
Well, yeah, or I need a man that's consistent. I need a man that can be there when I'm in need, type of shit.
Yeah, again, fellas, this is not for her. I'm sorry, this is not for you. This is not your standard. This is for her. But this is what I'm talking about. I mean, these are all their mating and matching and dating imperatives. This is what they're trying to sell you, not for you to follow. It's for you to okay them following. It's what's on the inside that counts. So don't look at my outsides, because it's not very impressive. Don't you see it's valuable what's on the inside? Well, bitch, you don't think that about me.
Nope.
I need to have big old fucking biceps and washboard abs for you.
6'6".
That's the big one, right? I got to be at a certain height for you.
Yeah.
But I thought it's what's on the inside, not what's on the outside. I'm only 5 foot. I'm only 5.0. But I got so much personality. Yeah, that doesn't fly on their side, does it?
Well, they're the inferior. This is when they get to choose to be inferior, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm the smaller. I'm the weaker. So I should be shorter. I can be shorter. I can be less resourceful. And you should be able to
30 minutes later, women are equal.
Right. Right. And it's man, it's so frustrating when you can see how this plays out. When you talk about being red pill, man, and you can see what this looks like, and you have it's like that you have these specialty glasses to see.
Oh, I was about to say it's like Neo. You just see the ones and zeros coming down the screen.
But it's not an attitude. It's not a mindset. It's being able to see things play out in a certain way. Now, how you work that out is up to you, right? On who you are and who you want to be is how you respond to that. But being red pill is just being able to see it. It's not about a certain response. I hate when guys get online and they throw out this kind of like bait of why would you, if you're a red pill, you would do A, B, and C. Well, maybe that's what you would do in your red pill vision. But in mine is forever changing. I find ways, or I'll have ideas or a mindset about something that will change later on. And it's because I'm still changing. So I have different thoughts or mindsets, or I've grown up to a point where certain things don't matter to me anymore. I've lost the energy to even want to deal with certain things. So my red pill vision is only giving me access to see things in a certain light. It doesn't give me the automatic, I know what to do with it now because I have a red pill vision.
And I would compare red pill, dating, relationships. I would compare it to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a real passion of mine. For everything someone does, there's like, and it depends on how proficient you are, there's like 11 or 12 different ways you could go. I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighting is very much kind of like a create your own adventure book. If you'd like to do this, we'll go down this road. If you'd like to do this, we'll go down this road. You were talking about if you were red pill, you would. What I mainly see online is if you were really alpha, you would. Because alpha just kind of, even though it means to you and I a very specific definition, to the rest of the world, it means a lot of weird shit. For example, the one that people do not understand is alpha doesn't mean that you always do what's right. I mean, in the movie Back to the Future, who was the alpha?
Doyle, what was that?
Biff.
Biff, yeah.
Yeah, Biff was the alpha. Was Biff a great guy? No. Did he have good morals? No. He was the alpha, though.
Yeah.
He was the alpha in that story. Alpha doesn't mean altruistically good. Well, you know, a real alpha would treat a woman like a lady. No, that's not what that's not how alphas roll. But some alphas do treat women like ladies. But that's not what an alpha is.
Right.
Corey Wayne's an alpha. I'm sure he treats women like ladies. But that's not what all alphas do. And to kind of to your point, it's like it's ever evolving. Sometimes you're an alpha and you're in a bad mood. But what an alpha is, it's not about how you treat women and children. It's not. You can be an alpha and take a newborn baby and throw it off a fucking cliff, like in the movie 300. The deformed baby.
Yeah.
Throw that fucker off. Guarantee you that motherfucker threw the baby off wasn't beta.
Right.
That's not a beta move to throw a fucking baby off a cliff.
Nope.
No, sir. No, sir. So that's what I see a lot online is that if you were alpha, you would really do. No, that's not how alpha works, guys. That's not how alpha works. Now, we want to grow and we want to, you know, because you and I were in the service, you know, we have a, what do you want to call it? We have a ethic of being good, right?
Mm.
But having ethics of being really good doesn't make you alpha. And it doesn't make you not alpha either if you don't have it. That's not what it is. People have... Alpha is like a really loaded word. You know what else is a really loaded word, Anthony? Submissive. That's a really loaded word. Would you say XOs are submissive to the captain?
Well, they would... I would hope they were.
If they weren't, they'd be like plotting against them, right?
Well, and I hate that I see all these scenarios in my head because you guys can't, so you don't see what my conflict is. But, you know, there are XOs who think that they are the captain, right? So,
well, you're talking about real life.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But no, in theory, no, they should be submissive to the captain because they're.
What do you mean? They just have to bow down to the captain? Is that what you're saying, Anthony? They just have to go kiss the captain's ass? Is that what you're saying?
Well, think about what
they just got to kiss his ass, huh? This is how women argue, guys.
Think about what the name is of an XO, executive officer. And the executive is a very actionable word, so you have to execute. And execute means something like, are you executing your own ideas or your own program? No, you're executing the orders of a captain in this regard.
In the dictionary, it says in naval vessels and some other military contexts, the officer who is second in command to the captain or commanding officer. Keyword, second in command to the captain.
You can't be an XO and think that you're the captain. And even if you're the one that's the captain's telling you and say, hey, this is what I want done, make sure it gets done. And the captain doesn't come and hold your hand and ask you if it got done and seeing if it's doing. You're just going by the list what the captain wants, and you're just making sure it gets done. That's your job. Does the captain have things to do that you don't see that if he's doing it or not, and you're thinking that you run this boat because the captain's not there?
Anthony, I'm sorry, man. I wasn't in the Navy. You were. I got to call you out on this. Here's the thing, man. Seems like the Navy is stuck back in the 1950s. Why can't the XO and the captain be equals and have it 50-50? What's the problem with that? Are y'all just not woke enough? Why can't... you ever heard of something called the patriarchy, Anthony? How come they can't just be 50-50? What's the problem with that? Are you guys just so insecure in the Navy that the XO and the captain can't be 50-50? Are y'all that insecure? Is what women sound like.
That was so dumb.
When you put it contextually with the U.S. Navy, it sounds dumb as fuck, doesn't it? But this is what women sound like in relationships every day in the West.
And it's like, I can't even dignify the conversation because it's so far out of context. And when you... And I've been in conversations like that with women before when they try to kind of build these building blocks of fantasy versus reality.
Well, I just used a real one, right? Sounds like the captain, if he can't have it 50-50 with the XO, sounds like he's really insecure. Probably has a small dick.
Well, there's this sense of like, I hate to hear women come to me and make some kind of like statement that you just made about why are they doing this the way they're doing it. It doesn't seem like it should be that way. But you said all of that and you gave me no counter way to do it that would be better than the way that it exists.
That's what this segment is about, Anthony, is they're going to shame you because the XO, if we're using the XO and the captain, right, as an example, the XO is going to come shame you and say, well, the only reason you don't want me to have 50% of the power is because you're insecure. You can't handle strong men in XO positions, Captain. It seems like you can't handle strong men. You can't give me 50% of the power. But what is that XO really doing that's doing that? He doesn't have 50% of the power. So he's trying to negotiate up to 50. Then from there, 51%, now he's got more power. But I got to get to 50 first, right?
Well, if you think you're equal to someone who's above you, or you think you can build up to it. And the thing is, like, when Patrice O'Neal talked about if you're the queen and if you want to be in charge, you got to pull the king down.
Yeah. Or he's got to die. You know.
But if you're the queen, you know, for the king, then you're in the highest position that you could be in, right? So because you're not in charge doesn't mean that you can't be successful in the position that you hold.
And it also doesn't mean that you're not number 2 in the whole fucking kingdom. In the XO's case, he's number 2 on the whole boat. For men, again, who can be good followers, that's a good position. That's a goddamn good position. And they're honored to have it. And you know what men also do? Using the XO and the captain example, Anthony, men will act as an XO how they want their XO to act when they are captain. That's something men conscientiously do that women don't do. Women don't think like, oh, if I'm eventually in charge in this marriage, I want to act to him how I would want my number 2 husband to act to me. No, they're just hungry hippos with power. They want to get to equal 50-50. So now they're equal to you, and now they can grab more power from there. But they got to get to the equal part first, right?
I have this second place trophy that I got at a summer camp in basketball. I think it was shooting free throws and 3-pointers. And it wasn't recent. I was a kid.
Hey, the crowd got excited, man. The crowd got excited. I don't know what to tell you.
Nothing to be excited about. It's just what I'm saying is, when I accepted the second place trophy, I had to also accept that someone who was in first place was better than me. So you can't accept a position in a role and not accept that the other position exists and is superior to you.
Can I ask you a question? Did you in that moment when you're accepting second place, and second place sucks, however, second place is still really good. People that have really played athletics know that second place is really good. Okay? If you come in number 2 overall in college football, even with the current playoff system, it's pretty fucking goddamn good. You're not going to ever wish for a job for the rest of your life if you work in the state where that college team is, right? No shame to me, unless you did something shameful in the game. But when you accepted that second place trophy, was there an innate part of you that was like, I'm going to accept this trophy because one day I want to win. And I want that win to be legit. I want this whole system of first place and second place and shit. I want it to be a legit system. So when I do win, I'm fucking top of the mountain, right?
Well, I remember, and I hate to make a second place finish seem like motivation.
Because I don't. I think there's a lot of great second place finishes.
It was motivation for me because I thought I was better than the kid that beat me. He was just better than me in the moment. So I had to accept it. And the thing is, when you're not always on top, when you're not the main dog, when you're not the one in charge, when you have to play your role, because let's say that was maybe that was the tryouts who would be the shooting guard or the point guard, right? And I lost because someone was better than me. Maybe they were better than me by one shot, and the shot that they hit like bounced off the front of the rim, hit the top of the goal, and then went in after it bounced around the rim several times. I can complain about, well, it was a lucky shot, or it
because it was.
and the thing,
and everybody else saw it. Yeah.
But I also didn't outdo them. So lucky shot or not, I have to accept what my output is.
Yeah, and we also respect the rules of the game. There was a rule set, you won by this rule set. If there needs to be a correction next year, we're like, look, motherfucker, I can't bounce off the top of the ceiling and off some bitch's head in the stands and then go in the hoop.
Yeah.
But today that rule didn't exist. I respect your victory, right?
And you just gotta say, okay, I accept my role. This is what I get for what I've been able to accomplish so far. And sometimes it sucks to have to play that role, but you didn't earn the role that is above you. So you have to do better to get in a position to where that role is beneath you now. But that's what I wanted to kind of express when it comes to being a woman or being in a position where you're following someone else's program, you cannot change. You cannot follow someone else's program, right? That could be your position, to not follow somebody else's program. But also understand that there may also be someone would be less caliber than the person program that you would have to follow.
That's a very good point, Anthony. Someone that's just going to go and bow down to your fucking female program, this motherfucker's not going to get your pussy wet. Not. And you're going to wonder why. God damn it, this dude's giving me everything I want. What the fuck is the problem?
But you keep thinking about the guy who
broke your back.
Who wasn't.
Spring break.
Well, they even think about the guy who they was under before, and they couldn't stand him, and it's like, well, I keep thinking about that guy.
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't understand why I think about
such a bad person. No, it's I love what you just said, man. It's this what women don't understand about themselves. And Anthony, how many times have we talked about how unself-aware women are on this program? What women don't understand about themselves is the guy that decides that the family's going to Canada. She doesn't understand. She's happier with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
She's happier with that guy.
And
she doesn't get that, does she?
Not up front. No. Because as soon as you give them the idea that they have just as much authority on what happens in your life as you do, then they're the mother. You're the child, and they get to tell you what to do. There is no equal shit. Y'all are not coming to an equal conclusion on shit all the time. That shit doesn't work like that. The 50-50 shit is a myth. It's a complete myth.
Never 50-50.
It's a complete myth.
You cannot run a successful company. I know I repeat this over and over, Anthony. You cannot run a successful company if the two people at the top are 50-50. Because you would just have this constant war.
You're giving guys aneurysms that are like, I know we're giving guys aneurysms that's like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't do 50-50?
Can't.
And then you got some women who, because this just sounds good. This just sounds good. Because how many times have you been in a rut, or you been so busy with work or with a hobby or something that you were doing that you was focusing on, that some things fell short that you would have normally taken care of.
Yeah. And
your wife had to pick up, or your friend had to pick up, or your neighbor or your roommate, whatever your dynamics is in life.
Yeah.
Somebody's have to pick up your slack. And you're like, damn, they did that for me.
Well, hold on. I want to point out what you're pointing out right now. You have to have this self-awareness. Somebody picked up your slack. And with men, that's how loyalty is built, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, in relationships with men and women, men will build up loyalty and they'll let bitches get away with murder. I'm going to give a real life example. My wife texted me while I'm in my home office, by the way. So I'm one room away. She didn't storm in on me. I'm working in my home office. I'm working from home. And she sends me a text. It says, "Do you want to go to Maryland for Thanksgiving? There's a Southwest Airlines sale for round trip, $195 for both of us that ends today." And I said, "Yes, it would be good to see your parents. Let's go to Maryland." She says, "It leaves Thursday, but not coming back until Tuesday. Is that okay? If so, give me your Rapid Rewards number." I just reply with my Rapid Rewards number. But let me tell you, I just read it to you word for word. If she would have sent me some fucking weird text like, "Hey, look, there's a special on Southwest Airlines, and I really want to see my parents, and blah, blah. XO don't talk to me like that, dude. You see what I'm saying? You see the difference, Anthony? Now I'm resisting. I'm like, uh-oh. The dynamic in the relationship is changing. Dude, that's what a lot of people that listen to this program don't understand, Anthony. I am constantly alert. That's why I love our analogy of being like a captain of a naval vessel. When you're in the middle of the ocean, Anthony, I'm sure you felt this as a sailor. You're on high alert, man. You could get attacked at any fucking time, right? Mm-hmm. As long as that vessel's in the middle of the ocean, the captain's got to be fucking standing at the end of the fucking deck with his arms folded. That's why the XO is so important. Because the XO has got to execute the orders of the captain. Mm-hmm. The captain's got to be fucking up here playing chess while hopefully the Russian subs below him are playing checkers. There's a lot of stress up here at the captain's spot. It's not a land of like sitting around in Playboy Mansion in robes where bitches feeding you grapes and shit. Being the captain of a vessel is hard work. It's hard, man. It's fucking hard work. And we said this in the beginning of the program, man. You don't get to be captain without being what first? A follower.
Yeah.
Yeah, or an XO. And we said this earlier in the program. A person that can't follow should never be allowed to lead. The ladies that cannot get with your program before you have children, they can't get with your program. They're not on your program, fellas. That means if they're going to University of Maryland and you were going to go to Penn State, but you go to University of Maryland, even though it's not as good a school for your major, because you're going to compromise because everything's 50-50, fuck that. That bitch will never respect you. Anthony, truth or no?
No, facts.
That bitch will never respect you. Guys, if you take, and by the way, this was an unintended, side to the program. Side to our podcast. Anthony, you had this great quote. They got to get with your program, right?
Yep.
If they can't, guys, this is not someone, Anthony says, it's not someone that should even be in your rotation.
Not even. You can't alienate your own
self.
You can't.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
It just doesn't play out for your benefit to give over who you are to someone else and trust them to do what's best for you. It doesn't make sense. You gotta understand what your role is as a man when you're around women. And I've been called an asshole, a jerk, a dick, all that. But what does that mean to me? It don't mean shit to me. Because in the end, my happiness is paramount.
Anthony, that sounds selfish.
It is. I accept it.
Boy, if a woman is looking after her own happiness, what is she? Celebrated?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
if a man's looking after his own happiness, he's selfish.
She's independent. She's a strong woman. She's all this shit.
And Anthony, I came up with this conclusion earlier this week. I haven't even shared this with you. Have you seen any clips of the show Mad Men?
No.
Oh, you haven't. Dom Draper. I think this show takes place in the mid 1950s, early 1960s.
I think I remember seeing
some previews of it and shit. By the way, I haven't seen many episodes of it. I think I saw the first season. But Mad Men days, Anthony, was a time where masculine energy was in charge, And basically, this was the height of masculine energy run amok. And men were just basically fucking assholes, man. Just assholes. But in the year 2020, this is the era, fellas, I want you to listen to me right now. The year 2020, this is the era women are assholes. They're not telling you the truth about what they want. They've got you chasing your own tail. They're sending you in circles. Hey, I think it's what really matters is what's on the inside, but they mean that for themselves, but they don't mean that for you. This is the era where women are assholes. Instagram's a thing. They think their vagina is made out of 24 fucking karat gold. And the only way, guys, we're going to take this shit back so we can even out the pendulum. So in the 1950s and the Mad Men days, men were total fucking assholes. Then the pendulum swung completely the other way. Mm-hmm. Where this podcast, we're sexist, Anthony. Because we're criticizing women. Oh my God. We're talking about where women talk about standards that are really not for themselves, but they're really for you. One of them is, and I'm sorry, I know that this segment was reverse, but one of the standards that they'll have that's actually for you, but it's not for them. Look, when I'm dating, I only date one person at a time. Okay, so you need to.
No, that's what they.
Yeah,
want you
shame
to do.
You for having a rotation, right?
Yeah. They want you to do that. There's no proof that they're giving you that they're only dating you.
Look, I can't date you anymore. Well, how come? I thought we were just seeing each other. I'm seeing someone else.
Wait.
Well, hold on. That's not what we agreed to. Look, I didn't mean for it to happen, but it just happened.
Right.
Fellas,
it's always okay for them to do what they told you not to do.
They always have the out of it just happened.
Yeah, fuck all that, man.
Yeah, just spontaneous dick in their vagina combustion. It just happened.
This is the thing. If you guys don't get anything out of this, I want you to understand this. Do not be afraid to lose a woman who is unwilling to play by the rules how you live your life.
Oh, I thought you were going to say get on your program. That's kind of been the overall theme of this podcast.
Well, yeah.
That to me is some new, like, we just discovered during this podcast how important this was. I love the way you put it, man. You're like, these women need to get on your program, not the other way around.
Nope.
It ain't 50-50, guys.
Well, the reason I worded it the way I did is because a lot of times we as men give up who we are to be with certain women because we, for whatever reason, in the instance, in the way she looks or what this woman has accomplished or how her sexual market value is, we will give up who we are to be with her. And a lot of men are willing to do that, like at the gate, like, oh, I need to do this to be with you? Okay, that's fine. I'll do it. And I was watching some show. Oh, Steve Harvey show. I was watching a clip of it. And this guy was saying he was single and he was trying to ask Steve Harvey advice. And he was like, hey, you can talk.
The last motherfucker in the world you want to ask for advice,
right?
By the way, but go on.
But he said, well, why don't you talk to her? She's next to you, holding the mic for you. And he was like, yeah, I would want to talk to her. And he was like, well, what's up? Like, are you single? And she's like, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. And she was like, and Steve Harvey's like, well, why not? And she was like, well, he lives out of state and I would want somebody local. And he was like, I can move here.
Jesus Christ.
Right. And
you're already starting this off bad.
And I'm like, well, that's not the last thing you got to do.
She needs to move to you.
Well, even if you move there, right, in some solidarity where your job says, if you want to move there, fine, we'll support you. You're still going to be traveling all across the country, so where you live don't matter. Let's say that exists.
Okay.
But you think that it's going to stop there? You think that when you move to Los Angeles from Chicago, and when you get there, you think she's not going to want you to have to do anything else? Hey, you travel too much. I need you to stop traveling. I accepted you because you would live here, but now it seems like you're all over the country still.
Because the relationship started with her giving you terms.
Yep.
And the reason I was laughing is because I was remembering Patrice O'Neal saying, do you think if a girl's complaining when you're together, you never take me to the movies, and I just wanted to go to the movies, and and then you take her to the movies. Well, you took me to the movies, and that's all I wanted. So I'm just really happy now that you took me to the movies. I'm never going to ask for anything else again.
Nope.
No, motherfucker.
Nope.
This is why you do not negotiate with terrorists. Because guaranteed there's more demands coming. The terrorist never goes away happily like, you know what? You gave me that $1 million for these hostages. Thanks, man. We good. I'll never do anything ever again for the rest of my life. Never, dude.
Well,
never.
We got a comment in the chat.
Oh. Wesley, if you're constantly on high alert, don't you get burned out at some point? And this is a great question, by the way. Wesley, if you're constantly on high alert, don't you get burned out at some point? Or you're just so used to it, it's pretty much going with the flow for you. That's a good question. So, our listeners, when I'm always on high alert in my relationship, do I ever get burned out? At first, it's really, really hard. Okay? And I'd like to liken it to long distance running or any other type of cardio. At first, when you first start running, when you first start jogging or bicycling, like whatever your cardio is,
it's top of mind.
Jesus, it's crazy. You feel like you're gonna die.
Yeah, you feel every nook and cranny.
Oh man, you gotta figure out how to breathe. Yep. You gotta figure out how to do your stride right, or you gotta get the right cycling
your hands
gear.
Too much.
Yeah, like should I keep my hands lower at my waist while I'm running?
Should I loosen my grip? Should I let the blood flow?
Yeah, and Anthony, by the way, have you done long distance running?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, I was about to say, because as motherfuckers like you were there when I was doing long distance running, and Anthony's pointing out some very specifics, which is what we do on this motherfucking program, right? But long distance running, it's very hard at first. But then you start doing marathons, 23.2 miles. And you're like, shit, I fucking accomplished that. Then all of a sudden, where you couldn't even run 5 miles to start with, you hit that 23 point. Is it 23.2?
Man, I don't know.
Is it 23.7? Marathon late. God damn it, I'm gonna. But anyways, then when you hit that 23 plus mile, all of a sudden, it's not hard for you to run 26.2. It's not hard for you to run 10 miles. Goddamn, 8 miles is crazy. 5 miles is an appetizer, right?
Yeah. Well, it becomes like anything else.
You just become strong.
It's muscle memory, and you don't even realize where you at. Like there are the midway point where you're at the 13 mile, right? Where you're just like, okay, I've accomplished a portion of where I'm trying to go. Now the rest just takes over. Your body takes over after that. You don't even think about it anymore.
Because you're so strong. You've been doing this for so fucking long, man.
Yeah.
You're just like, I mean, do you remember, in the Navy, how many miles did you guys have to run for your PT test?
2.
2. Yeah, it's 2 in the Army too. After a while, I never worried about passing it. I was just like, man, am I going to have one of my better times? I think my best time was 12:32 in basic. But I never worried about passing it. I was like, passing the 2 mile? Get the fuck out of it. Because you just become strong. But when you first start doing it, you're not strong. And it seems like you're dog paddling and you're never going to be able to come up for air. Great question. Because I want our audience to know that. When you start going down this red pill path, guys, everything's going to be hard at first. And then 5 years later, you're going to be wondering, like, how come this was so hard for me at first? But guys, specifically, what you have to do, and I'm going to force you guys to do this every episode, you have to begin your 5-girl rotation. Because Anthony, that solves a lot of issues, doesn't it?
Yeah, it knocks out all the neediness, it answers a lot of the questions that happens when you start to lose chicks. I've lost an entire rotation and had to start over. And
that's hard. That's hard.
Listen, I remember I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was telling them, I said the last chick on the rotation did something so foul that I was like, oh, you gotta go. But I was like, she's the last one. She's like the last one.
Damn it.
And I was like, it doesn't matter. What matters is my happiness. And if she's
and
not
I built, well, hold on. In your case, I built this once. I can build it. I can build it again.
Yes. The thing about losing what you already have means there's something else available for you later, man. That's it.
And you've already weeded out the bitches that are stupid as fuck and don't need to be in your life
at all.
All right, everybody. This is episode 42 in the books. Look us up, redpillphonetap@gmail.com. Look us up on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. Until next week, thank you for joining
the Redfield Phone Tap. Peace.